Hi, welcome to Girls Who Run These Worlds. I'm Everis Burke. I use she, her pronouns, and tonight I will be your Grail guide as we play some Inspirisles. Yes, Inspirisles is an all-ages tabletop role-playing game about storytelling, empathy, and deaf awareness. So, yeah, with an emphasis on cooperation and narrative. So we will be learning a little bit of sign language and playing in a fantastic world inspired by Arthurian legend. Also tonight on stream, we will be raising money for the National Deaf Children Society, who are dedicated to creating a world without barriers for deaf children and young people. We will be giving away PDF bundles, physical copies of this game, dice sets, which I actually have, so I will show you. You get 3 of these lovely D6, if only the camera would focus. And yeah, enamel pins, bookmarks, you name it. So every £50 raised, donate through Twitch to enter. And for every £50, we will be giving something away. Watch the chat to see what that is. I will announce a full list of winners at the end. So without further ado, let's meet our wonderful cast of players. I'm going to go in alphabetical order by your names, which starts us with Fiona, I believe.
I was like, what? Which name? Hello, everyone.
What
Sorry.
alphabet?
What alphabet? Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Fiona. I am obviously one of the players tonight. I normally run What Am I Running, which is twice monthly podcast, but tonight I will be playing Morgan, she, her. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I've played Inspirisles once or twice before, a long time ago, and I'm just very excited to actually be able to do it on stream, and I'm really looking forward to this game. So thank you very much.
Okay, amazing. Presumably you all know the alphabet. I'm still going to shout out your names in order. Sorry about that. Gask.
I do not know the alphabet. I had to say it out loud in my head, yeah. Great start. Hello, I'm Gask. I use she, her pronouns. I will be playing Dahi today, he, him pronouns, and I am just happy to be here. That's all you need to know about me.
Amazing. We're happy you.
Hello, yes, I am Maddie. I use she, her pronouns, and today I will be playing Bobby, also she, her pronouns. You might know me from the Alien stream, the Regency Remix stream, also on Girls Run These Worlds, or also Realms of Peril and Glory, an amazing actual play podcast. And yeah, very excited to play this game. It's been on my list for ages, so can't wait.
Great. Nox?
I don't know why I rebooted the minute you said my name. I was like, rebooting. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Nox. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Ellie.
There we go.
Yep. There we go. I'm doing great. I'm running off of so much sleep. And yeah, you might know me from I DM a show here on Girls Run These Worlds called School of the Stars. I've been in like Wish We Weren't Here. And I'm just excited to be here too. Not to steal what Gask said, but also because
if it's
tired.
true, it's fine. If it's true,
I'm tired
it's
but
fine.
excited.
I don't think Gask invented being happy to be here.
I patented it though, just there. So
okay,
I do need.
I will give you 5 doubloons.
Okay, I'm very litigious. Sorry.
It's all right. I'll give you 5 doubloons. Here you go.
Great. Okay, and last but not least, Taylor.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I use she, her pronouns. And actually, I used to take sign when I was like in elementary school and got to go to a deaf school around that time, and they gave me a name and sign. So I'll introduce myself with that as well, which is T for Taylor, and then this because they were like, "Oh, you smile all the time." So that's that's my name in American Sign Language. And I'm going to be playing Briar, who also uses she, her pronouns and does not have a sign name.
That's great. Well, I mean, most of us don't have much experience with sign language. The point of the game is to learn. So If you are watching this and you do happen to know sign language, please be patient with us because we are learning live on stream. It's part of the game and it's part of the fun. So great. We move now to introducing your characters. And I want us to go one by one, look in on their lives, see where they are, and see how they end up in the Isles or the islands. What order shall I go in? Who shall I start with? I think I want to start.
Is it alphabetical again? Because we're
might
now.
Be, it might be alphabetical by character name this
Oh,
time.
roll the dice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay, it's
no.
not me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I want to start with Bobby. So Maddie, can you paint the scene for us? Where is Bobby when the well-wisher comes for her? Where is she? What is she doing? And tell us what we see. What does she look like?
So I think she is quite a scrappy, skinny, tousled kind of kid, about 14. Dark hair, just so many freckles. Wears very kind of plain dark clothes and is sort of scuttling about in the garden of her family home, trying to, with a camera, trying to make it look beautiful and exotic when actually it's just like a few straggly daffodils and off in the corner. And yeah, I think she's just trying to figure out how to really frame that leaf in a very artistic way.
Oh, wonderful. And great. So what animal is it that comes into view at this moment?
It is an otter, which would be quite unusual because her house is quite far from any river or stream or even body of water. It's just in a suburban area. So seeing an otter would be like, at first, oh my God, an otter. And then, wait, what?
What are you doing here? Right, so Bobby is framing a photo and just in the corner of the frame catches a little bit of movement. And she looks over and sees this otter kind of poking its head out of the hedgerow and looking at her. It looks into your eyes and you immediately feel like this is a familiar friend, that you feel that it is calling to you. You feel that it's basically asking you to come out and play, and you feel compelled to follow it. And in fact, strangely, you do. Keeping hold of your camera, I'm sure you follow it out the back garden gate, down the road, to a local park where it leads you across the grass. There's no one around for some reason. Normally there's loads of people in this park, but there's a quiet path that the otter follows, and it's turning over its little shoulder, checking that you're following, and you reach a stand of trees, and there's a gorgeous shaft of sunlight just reaching down and hitting this point in the trees that kind of seems to swirl and move before your eyes. You approach it, and the otter stops just before it enters the swirl and looks at you as if to say, "Are you coming?"
I kind of look around, even though I know that there's no one in the park, just like, is anyone seeing this? And I look down at the otter and just try and see if I can surmise any intent in the otter's expression.
It looks calm and friendly, and you trust it implicitly.
I tentatively kind of put a hand through first, and if it doesn't hurt or doesn't feel too weird, then I'll just keep going through.
It feels warm, slightly tingly. It's a pleasant sensation. And the otter dives through before you. Do you go?
Yeah.
Amazing. You step through, and we will leave you there and move on to our next character, Briar.
Yeah.
What do we see? Where is Briar when she is called to the Isles?
Yeah, I think Briar is in like her backyard, I think, and is excuse me, is wearing kind of like I think I'm wearing a tie-dye t-shirt right now, but I think it's like a tie-dye t-shirt, but it has like a soccer ball on it or a football as as some people may prefer it to be referred to. Um and some like overalls, I think. She's like a pretty solid like teen. And is kind of running around, like kicking around a soccer ball. She's got like kind of shortish, like thick brown hair.
Yeah. So you're kicking around this football in your backyard, having a good time. What animal is it that comes and calls you?
It is a big tortoise.
So you kick the ball. You know, I imagine that Briar is living her best soccer player fantasy of like kicking the ball, getting a goal, running around, yay! And you kick the ball and it bounces in a strange way, and you look over, and instead of a patch of grass, there is a slightly perturbed looking turtle kind of looking at you.
I look at it back, also slightly perturbed.
And it looks into your eyes, and again you have that feeling like this is an old friend. This is, you don't know where you've met this turtle, but you feel like it knows you, and it sort of looks perturbed for a second and then kind of nods, and then ever so slowly starts turning its whole body around.
Oh, it's gonna take you a while to get there,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
This is the worst escort mission.
And then
It's trying its best.
it looks back at you, and then it looks sort of at the garden gate, and then it sort of, you almost like feel it sigh. But then it just looks, what is there a back garden wall in this garden, or a hedgerow? How is it surrounded?
I imagine probably like a fence, like maybe like not exactly like a chain link fence, but like kind of a like, you know, kind of see-through kind of vibe, metal fence.
Okay.
And
So
there's also, I think, a like a garden back here, something like that.
okay. So it starts looking at the fence, staring very intently at one spot on the fence. And you kind of come up alongside your friend to sort of think, what's it looking at? And as it looks really intently and closes its little turtle eyes, the fence starts to swirl in front of you. And you see the same thing Bobby saw, a kind of strange, like, for a moment you think the light is playing tricks on you. And then the longer it goes on, you look away and everything else looks normal. It's just this patch where the light seems to be distorting and swirling, and almost rainbow light patterns coming through it. You see your turtle friend looks up at you, sort of nods again, and starts slowly edging itself along the ground towards the portal.
I follow behind it, and I think I also like look around, because that seems like such a net. Like, is anyone else here? Does anyone else see this? Even though I obviously don't know that Bobby did that. And I think look around to see if like my mom is around or anything. And then I'm kind of like, I mean, this is cool. Like, this is like something you would read about in like a book or something. And like, if this happens to you, you should just go through the portal. And so I kind of like give a look around and then kind of impatiently follow that's not very far, but follow behind the tortoise.
Yeah, you turn and you look, and you see in the back window of your home, you see your mother in the kitchen kind of pottering around, like moving some things around. She's not looking out of the window right now, but you can kind of give a little wave as you step through the portal. So slowly. So slowly with your turtle friend.
Yeah, I look excited but irritated.
The turtle feels the same way. I'm too old for this, man. Okay, amazing. Yeah, so moving on to our next delightful character. We have, again, reminding myself the alphabet, Dahi, I believe, is next.
Yeah, we
Gask,
got
do you
a
want to...
stacked alphabet.
Some good alphabeting.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell us about Dahi? What is Dahi?
Well, Dahi is just a little scamp of a man, of a boy, sorry. Uh, he, like, in my head, I'm just thinking of, like, you know, those, I know it's modernish times, but in my head, I'm thinking of, like, those, newspaper comic characters that you'd see, like Dennis the Menace. Even like he's got his slingshot, he's oozing mischief and mayhem, um but is also just like such an explorer, like would loves to just explore the wilds around him. So he's probably just in a forest right now, like lying down looking up at the sky in a clearing that he found somewhere, hoping to see something cool, looking at the shapes of the clouds.
Okay, yeah, just it's a lovely day. There's some lovely fluffy clouds kind of drifting past, and you can see shapes in them. What animal does Dahi see in his eye line?
What was it? I have it here. Kestrel, yes.
A kestrel. Yeah, so
Yes.
as you're lying there, something moves on an upper branch, and you look, and there's this beautiful, if petite bird of prey looking down with its piercing gaze right at Dahi.
I know they're like one of those birds that can, you know, like hover, like just be still in the air. And I was like, that would be weird if that guy just looked at you. If they're yeah, because whenever you see them, it looks like a glitch in the Matrix or something like that. They're just like fully still. You're
yeah,
like,
just
where's the
frozen
flapping
there.
guy?
Yeah, just hovering there above you, looking down at
Mm.
you. And then it sort of swoops down low and comes down to the clearing and sort of sits on a nearby branch. And yeah, it looks into your eyes and it sort of waits to see how you react.
I
It
mean,
tilts its head.
absolutely enthusiastically. This is the coolest thing, probably. Because birds of prey like this are probably rare enough to see around here. So it's absolutely trying to, like, while he loves being an explorer, he's not that like I'm so patient. I'm going to like let the animals come to me. No, he's absolutely like, oh my god, let's get this guy.
So how
Let's
does
see
he
what's
try
happening.
and get to them?
Climb the tree,
Okay.
obviously.
All right. So Dahi starts climbing the tree, and to your delight, the kestrel doesn't move. The kestrel watches you climb the tree, sort of, and you get this feeling. You feel this. You also feel this connection to this guardian animal that has come to find you, and you feel that it is amused. It's watching you, and you almost feel like, look at this human trying to get up high. You know, it's so easy for me. And like feeling, you know, kind of patiently amused with your progress as you climb up there. And you make it onto this high branch where the kestrel is sitting. And the kestrel kind of hops along, makes space for you, kind of looks deeply into your eyes, and then looks down. And you look down, and in the forest floor, you see the swirling pattern
Oh man.
of a portal. And the kestrel looks at it, and then looks at you, and then looks at it.
Now, Dahi also looks around, but this time to make sure nobody's watching, because that's his instinct. Because he's like, I'm gonna be up to no good. I need to make sure that no one's watching this. And then probably just gets a wicked grin on his face, and I wouldn't say it's not cool. Like, it's not a cool swan dive in. Like, I feel like he's just koalaing around the branch right now and just kind of like slips off. It's like, Geronimo!
And it's like landing in a warm pool. And it just, you expect it to kind of like splash around you, but instead it sort of envelops and hugs and embraces you and pulls you in as the kestrel dives in after you and follows you.
Probably a lot more gracefully, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You see it. It's sort of like streamlined wings, just whoosh, right in. Amazing. Wonderful. Okay. And now we move over to Morgan.
It's Ellie,
Oh,
I
no,
think.
Ellie.
Yes.
Alphabet.
E
I
and
know
H,
alphabet.
both before
Why do I
F.
keep going alphabetical when I don't know the alphabet? One day I will learn it. I swear.
It's okay.
Okay, so Ellie. Where is Ellie? Where do we find her? What does she look like? What's her vibe?
She's currently sitting with her crochet outside of a university, just like kind of looking really bored. Has her headphones in, listening to music, and just like crocheting. I don't know why I'm doing it with my hands. I have actual crochet next to me, and she has her. She's wearing a dress like with like skirt to the floor, but it's kind of the skirt part's a little sheer, so you can see she has her brace on her knee, and she just looks like calm, not like in a rush, but also like she doesn't want to be sitting outside in the heat for like another hour waiting for her parents to be done with teaching. And so she's just like, okay, this is fine.
So she's a bit bored. She looks up, and across the well-kept grass of this university campus, she sees a creature watching her. What does she see?
So she sees a mountain lion just on
Wow.
the other side. I was gonna go sloths, but I was like, you know what, this will be funnier.
Okay, so Ellie does a double take as she looks up, and there is a mountain lion just sitting in the quad on the grass, kind of watching her. It sort of looks at her and then it gives a huge yawn, its massive jaws opening and showing all of its teeth, then licks its lips and kind of like slow blinks at her.
No. Security.
There are people walking around. There are people walking past it and just not looking at all at this creature just on the grass.
She's gonna like reach for a college student's arm and be like, excuse me, is that supposed to be there?
College student looks right past the mountain lion at the bench and just says, I mean, it's nice to have somewhere to sit.
Thanks.
Sure. Just moves on.
I'm okay. This is why you need to drink water, not just Dr. Pepper all the time, because it's hot. Now you're dehydrated. Okay.
As you're sitting there, the lion gets up and starts to lope towards you across.
No.
And it comes and sits and rests its chin on your knee and starts the deepest, rumbliest purr you ever heard.
Oh, I want to cry. I want to cry so bad. Okay. Okay. Good kitty.
It rubs its cheek against the side of your leg.
Okay. You know what? This is like pressure therapy. Instead, except of like, a weighted blanket, it's a monster. It's a giant cat. Beautiful cat that can murder me. Okay.
As you say beautiful cat, you look into its amber cat eyes and you feel that instant sort of like connection. And your anxiety dims just a little as you realize that this cat means you no harm and, in fact, is here to summon you to something really cool.
Okay. You promise you're not gonna hurt me, right? You can nod, or you can like high paw, or like
It sits back on its hind paws and lifts a paw.
I, the mountain lion, promise not to hurt.
It was expecting a high paw, but it'll swear. It's just sort of like.
Okay, good job. Okay.
Does it need its other hand in the Bible? What are you doing?
Yeah. Can't believe you're leaving it hanging
Got its
there,
other
Ellie.
hand on its own chest.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
it's sort of, once you're done like making it swear to be nice to you, it sort of puts both paws down, gets up, and starts to walk.
Okay, are we going a far distance? Because walking's not my strong suit.
It just turns around and goes, roar. And just carries on like.
I will not ask any more questions. Okay, yes. I was just gonna ask if you can give me a ride or something. I don't know, but okay, this is fine.
So, what is Ellie's favorite spot on this campus?
It's probably like the turtle pond, because
Okay.
I feel like my mom used to work at a university and they had a turtle pond, so I'm like, yeah, that's a thing that's on campuses, and my school had a turtle pond. So it's just like kind of in the middle of campus, there's these like grove of trees surrounding it. And it's kind of where like the ducks, but mostly the turtles, just hang out. And there's like benches along the side, and there's flowers. It's just a nice place for like some shade and to relax when you're being summoned by a giant cat.
Yeah. Okay, so it heads towards that pond, and you're walking across this campus. Nobody is looking twice at the mountain lion. They're looking twice at you because you still look a little bit nervous, and you're kind of looking around, seeing if anybody's looking. They're not looking at the cat. They're looking at you like, what's up with that kid? You keep going. You reach the turtle pond, and near to your favorite shady bench, you see just underneath the branches of a tree, in the shade, in the nice and cool, you see that same sort of portal distortion. And the cat, it's hard to see at first because it's in the shade and you're in the sun, but as you draw close, you see the light dappling through the trees, playing with the light of this portal. And the cat comes towards it and kind of realizing that you're still nervous, kind of backs up and starts walking backwards through it and looking at you and nodding as if to be like, this is okay, you can do this. And it sort of carries on backing up. How does Ellie react?
Okay. Okay, this is fine.
It gives you the biggest kitty eyes, like
Oh,
distorts the whole face. It goes to the
You-
big guns, just pulls out the huge cat eyes, like, please.
You're very cute. This isn't normal though. This is no, like this has been great. I love you. You are wonderful. Very sweet. You're gonna have to drag me in there though, because I'm not doing this.
Its eyes comes out of the portal, moves behind you, and starts nudging you.
Okay, let's get it. I was kidding. No, okay, this is how it's gonna go. Okay. Mom!
It pushes you through the portal. Okay, great. And now finally we will go to Morgan.
Yes.
Fiona, tell me about Morgan. Where are they? What are they doing? Where is she? What is she doing?
Yeah. So Morgan, weirdly, we've had a lot of outdoors things just now, which is really weird because Morgan is definitely an indoors person. She, you probably see her. She's what we would call a weed of a person, in the sense of like she's very tall for some of 14, as slightly hunched up a little bit, is very self-conscious about how tall she is. Long dark brown hair, like down to like her sort of middle, wearing a school uniform. So we sort of see her in school. She's sort of on her own in the library, and it's probably lunchtime, people outside playing or like chatting and all that sort of thing, and she's just sort of there finishing off the perfect diary planner, the academic diary planner for the rest of the year. And it's very much like you see them on TikTok and Instagram, that the way they're all like beautifully done, exactly like that, but much better. It's like looks it down and goes like, this is my design. And it's just finishing up, but on her own in the library in sort of a school blazer. at lunchtime.
Okay. She's on her own at lunchtime in the library. It's cool, it's quiet. Here's the sound of something moving across the floors or the shelves. Some kind of claw on wood situation. She looks up, and what does she see?
So she looks up, probably she's probably sat in the non-fiction place, because fiction, who cares for fiction? Looks up and she sees a large raven, sort of like peeking around the corners, its claws probably grasping onto some biology tome.
It's got hold of one of the books and it's just like perched there and just goes, ah!
Me?
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri doesn't understand. Guys, I'm very sorry. Get out of my life, Siri.
I mean, I've heard ravens are really good at imitating human speech,
Yeah.
but that was incredible.
It
so
just caws at you and looks at you with its beady eyes.
I sort of point to myself, like, me?
Ah.
Oh. Like, now?
Ah.
Okay. And then I'd pack up everything, understanding immediately that this is important.
Yeah.
Putting it into my backpack and I go, right, do I need to tell anyone where I'm going, or?
It just takes off and takes wing and starts flying down the length of the library and back into a little used area of the library. This is the self-help corner. Not a lot of students go there.
Oh, I know it very well. I recognize these books. Yes. Yeah. So I'll. So wait. Wait. I sort of say, realizing that I need to be quiet, and go towards the sort of nook of the self-help corner.
Yeah, you turn into this nook and find the raven sat on top of the bookshelves, and beneath it, swirling portal. You can still see the books, but they're like distorted, as if somebody painted them with oils and then just smeared it, but kept smearing it. The colors swirling all over the place, and the raven just sort of looks down at the portal and looks at you and gives a final kind of caw, like, ah!
Okay. I then go into the backpack and I pull out the planner. I was like, well, probably don't need this, and I'll leave it on the shelf next to it. Maybe another student could use it. And I sort of pack up and go, all right.
The raven hops down onto your shoulder.
Yeah. And I go, God, I hope this doesn't hurt. And then walk straight into the self-help books.
Straight into the self-help. And you have the warm hug of the self-help shelf as you walk through. Okay, all of you have entered the portal and taken the first step on your journey. The world seems to turn upside down. You feel like you are on a fairground ride. Your vision is just rainbows and patterns and sort of swirls. You feel warm and secure, and like your companion animal is with you as a guide. You hear, all of you, a voice, a woman's voice, older woman, saying, I, Guinevere Pendragon, do swear on my honour as queen to guide my descendants to these isles, that they may gather belief for all its people and safeguard against the encroaching darkness of disbelief. For the world tree must thrive, ever and ever be it so. And you land in a heap. You all realise that there is more than just you here. Your animals sort of skitter away down a slope. As you stand, the wind howls in your ears. You open your eyes to find yourself on a high, narrow, rocky peak. There's a huge glowing doorway behind you, that you just came through. In one direction, there is a beautiful sunset, casting its last rays over beautiful, lush, green countryside. You see meadows, you see forests, you see tall, snow-capped mountains. To your right, you look down and you see a decent-sized lake, and on its shores, a large but cozy-looking cabin with the lights on inside. Looking around, you try and gain your bearings. Your head is swimming, but as you turn your heads, as you hear a faint screech from the distance, and for a second you think you see a jet black winged creature unfurl from the forest below and take flight and head off towards the mountains, but it's flying into the sun and it's hard to really make out. You have no idea where you are. You look down the slope, which leads to the forest line, and you see a figure approaching, wrapped in a light green cloak and holding a large feathered hat to her head. A long braid of brown hair is exposed from underneath the hat. She approaches you and she lifts her face up to you, and over the sound of the whistling wind, you hear her say, "Welcome, welcome! Come down out of the wind, won't you?" And you see this tanned face, smiling brown eyes, and she kind of beckons. Your animals all run towards her and she kind of nods to them in a sort of companionable, almost collegial way, and kind of turns and starts walking. And you look around and see each other for the first time. You don't have much choice but to follow her down the slope. You follow along into the woods, down a well-worn path, and reach a clearing where there's already a comfortable campfire. You are out of the wind, the trees breaking that constant noise. And the figure turns and says, "Okay, well, wonderful to see you all here. I'm Scriv, the Bard. Scriv the Bard, yes. And I have been tasked with welcoming you all. But before we get to all that, I think it is best if you just sit down and warm yourselves a while. We've not got far to go, but I'm sure you'll have questions. They always do." A red-headed woman appears out of the tree line. She's very practically dressed in contrast to the Bard, and she starts rapidly gesturing to the Bard, looking at you and looking at her. She says, yes, Cecily, of course, I'm about to offer them tea. We only just got here." And she looks at you all and says, "Tea?" and sort of gestures, and there are little tree stumps around this campfire. They look like they've been here a while. Like this is a well-established campsite that has been revived. And she gestures for you all to sit down. They make tea. They hand it out. And she says, "Oh, I'm not sure if it's hot enough." And Cecily kind of sighs and rapidly shapes something with her hands. And you feel the tea in your mugs warming up. And she nods. And the Bard looks at you all and says, "Oh, I do love it the first time you all see that. Yes. So, shall we do introductions? Oh, yes. Oh, you don't have to put your hand up. You can speak freely."
Are you was there a dragon before, and also are you a dragon?
Oh no, I'm not, and I certainly hope you didn't see a dragon. What? Well, we call them worms here. But no,
Nice.
Well, maybe it was Sita. Oh, well, that's what they call themselves. So
okay.
It's not considered impolite. It's just the term. So that's that question out of the way.
Are we in trouble?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, you are honoured
Nice.
guests,
Okay.
honoured guests in these lands, and we're all very excited to have you here. I've been terribly rude. How was your trip through the All's Well?
Awesome.
Points, and you can still just about through the tree line see the large
turtle.
portal just glow. Finally got here.
Made
Just
it.
comes through the tree line and gives you an all look like, "Thanks for carrying me, guys."
Thanks for
Hold
waiting.
on, guys. Wait
So,
for me.
Ellie's gonna ask the mountain lion to go get the turtle.
Yeah, the mountain
my
lion's kind
God.
of like nudging it
The
along.
turtle sees
and
a
the turtle's
mountain
just like,
lion charging at him.
Yeah, it's the mountain lion's taking the approach that if it sort of like nudges it enough, then the turtle's going to move faster. The turtle's just like, "How is this helping?" Scriv turns to you all and says, "No, so the All's Well, it was built to connect your world with, well, my world as well. I'm from where you're from, albeit quite a while ago. Yes, to connect our world with this world. You see, you're all descendants of Arthur Pendragon and his queen Guinevere." No, I see that's not helping. Okay, so you are all descended from them, and they were the first, among the first guests from Earth to these lands, and became great friends with the residents here. We call them the Fae. Lovely. You'll meet them all sooner or later. Well, not all of them. There's an awful lot of them, but you'll meet some of them. So they came here, traveled the islands, made friends, and unfortunately, war broke out both on our side of the portal and oh, it is confusing to be from both places. On this side of the portal and the other side of the portal, war broke out. Arthur
Between?
was sadly slain. Sorry?
Between them?
Oh, no, 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 no. So Arthur was fighting Morgana Le Fay and her son Mordred, his nephew. It was a family feud over the succession, I think. And then on this side, the fight was unfortunately between the worms, the dragons, and the Fae. But you know, Arthur and Guinevere helped as much as they could, and when things were peaceful again, and Guinevere promised that she would. Well, you will have heard the spiel. Send her descendants through the portal that they may stop the encroaching tide of darkness, and well, that's you. So that's what you're here to do.
Was that you too? Did this happen to you?
Oh yes, many years ago. So it's quite amazing the way it works. So you are called on your 15th birthday. You come through and you stay for as long as you want. You age in this world, so I'm not quite looking as young as I used to. But when you go back, if you decide to go back, you will go back at the moment that you left. So you can just leave
Hell
your
yeah,
life and move on
Narnia
forward.
situation.
It's a total Narnia situation. Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Briar immediately feels like friendly with Dahi because that's what Briar was thinking as well. So just kind of like looks over and is like, okay.
He has only seen the movie, I will say.
I have so many questions, and there's not enough answers that can be given to these questions. First of all, so we're all related.
Oh, distantly, very, very. We're talking over 1,000. I don't know. What year is it where you're from?
2023.
Okay,
It's today's date.
It's worrying that it took you so long. Yes, so
Look, a lot's been happening back on that side. Time is an illusion.
I just got brought through a portal by a mountain lion. I don't know where. If it's going to take me a while to remember the day.
So, absolutely fair. That's on me. So I would say it's been over a millennium and a half since, Guinevere. So you could be distantly related a few hundred years back. So, in the sense that every human is related to every human, yes, you're all related. But you also share one common ancestor.
Well, two, right? What about Arthur?
Yes, two. Absolutely two.
Unless Lancelot?
We don't talk about that, no.
Really? I feel like that's something we could talk about.
I mean, I suppose you could talk about it, but I don't know anything about it.
My name is freaking Hellas. I'm named after somebody who really did not like Guinevere and liked Lancelot a lot. Okay, I feel like that's something I want to talk about.
Well, yes. I
have some choice words for my parents right now too, because that's kind of messed up.
Yeah. So absolutely, you are descended from Guinevere at the very least.
Did this happen to our parents too? Like,
that's also a question. Did my mom know about this?
No,
because I'm a fight.
It's a generational thing. So it's not every
person.
No,
like twins.
There'll be a generation that comes along. You'll see some of them around. They'll still be here. They will do their duty with gathering belief for the world tree, and then after they have completed their questing time, they can stay here and make a life here for a while if they choose. And once they've retired, a new batch of Pendragons, we call you Pendragons, comes through.
So gathering belief, I was under the impression it was more of an abstract concept. Is it like a physical thing here, or is it still abstract, but you can gather it?
I mean all of the above. So here it is a magical force that powers the world, and yes, it's how people use magic, and it's how the Fae power their devices and technology. I mean, they don't have a lot of modern technology as you were expecting. There'll be no mini discs or Super Nintendo. No.
So this is obviously Scriv the Bard is talking to us. You said there was another person with us just now.
Cecily, who's she's still here, but she's kind of getting along with practical things. Sure. You see her kind of like cleaning up the teapot, putting things away, sort of scrubbing down the camp, and Scriv notices that this is happening and sort of is like, oh yes, well, we will, I mean, really, if you finish your tea, we can answer a lot of these questions back at the questing cabin.
I think, yeah, I was going to say, so as this I don't know, realization is happening with everyone else going, what is going on? I'm going to go to Cecily and go, sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I wasn't supposed to come with people who didn't know what was going on. I did a lot of research and I was readying myself to be a Pendragon. It feels like I've come in at the wrong time. Sorry, I just didn't want to. Just thought I'd put that into someone that, you know, of note.
She sort of reaches out and pats you on the arm a few times and nods. And just goes back to what she was doing.
Okay. All right. And I just go and join back the group going, oh no, this is the team. The team that's been assembled. Yeah.
And Scripps just sort of going, yes, we don't talk about Lancelot. It's
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not considered. It's just unseemly. I know you're of an age where you're very curious, but yeah, no.
We don't talk about Lancelot.
I've made a huge mistake.
So the cool thing, I forgot the coolest thing. So you'll be questing and gathering belief, but also, did you see the thing that Cecily did with the hand gestures and warmed the tea? You'll learn to do that. So you're going to learn shaping.
We learn how to make our own tea?
No, you learn to manipulate the power of the elements for good.
He immediately just does random hand shapes. Just
that's
I mean, I
like this?
appreciate your eagerness, but
that
I think
seems
like this.
I'm worried that you are going to actually hit on something and do yourself some damage. So
okay.
I would say
take a step away from Dahi.
Will become clear tomorrow morning when you will have a wonderful session with our resident Pendragon trainer, shaping trainer, Sita. She's expecting you. So if you're all ready, as I say, it's only about an hour to walk to the questing cabin. Is everybody happy to get up and
quest?
There are
laser eyes.
Because I feel like I need a stronger brace.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Is there a lot of walking, or am I going to need a stronger brace?
Oh, I mean, we can go at your pace. Does that work, or it's not a long walk.
You just
we
said
can
it's
take
an
break.
hour.
Oh, well, I mean,
y'all don't have like a horse. I know how to ride a horse. I just really. You have a mountain lion and not a horse.
No,
and a turtle.
1 second, and you see Scrib turn to the mountain lion and says, you're the fastest. Could you run and go and get a pony? And the lion just goes, yeah, sure. Sort of lopes off.
You could talk the whole time.
The lion just looks back at you and sort of shrugs and sort of runs into the forest and is gone for a little while. And Script turns to you and says, you might as well introduce yourselves to each other. You're going to be spending a lot of time together.
I'm Dahi. Pendragon, maybe, I guess. Do last names count here? We're all
It's
descended
more of an
from the same guy.
honorific than a surname, but you can do that. That's
I'm
fine.
Mr. Pendragon.
I see you're all.
I'm Morgan. I'm part of Form Lower 6N. I'm hoping to, was hoping to get head girl, but no, I'm here, and I'm very glad to be part of this team.
Do you work in like an office? Is that like your extension? What?
No, that's my class, my form. Like I was at school, and like I point to the crest on the blazer.
What are you forming?
You're
No.
15. There's got to be laws against this.
No. I'm at school.
I thought it
Weren't
was
you guys at
shaping.
school?
Yeah, but was it?
I thought it was shaping,
Everything is
not
crumbling
forming.
around Morgan.
Yeah, I'm in school, but I'm not. Is that like your major?
No, it's a class. Form is like it's like your form, like class lower. We've got names.
Like a martial arts form.
I think I know what you mean, like your year group.
Yes,
Laser
yeah.
eyes.
Your grade.
Yeah, so instantly I'm like, Bobby, thank God.
Yeah, because I live in Scotland, so we call it S4, but I know that in England there's like sixth form colleges and stuff, and it gets
Right.
confusing. But in Scotland,
in
it's just like
college at
S1 to
15?
S6.
At this point, the pony arrives,
God.
kind of
Oh my
following the
God.
lion.
Discussing the vagaries of international school systems in this magical land.
And actually, 5 ponies arrive, and Scrib says, so this was supposed to happen tomorrow, but, you know, it's very exciting to get this done now. You do, in fact, get a pony.
We get ponies?
Yes. So you'll be questing, you'll be traveling around a lot, you'll roll around the Isles, and so it'll be, you know, very useful for you to have your own individual pony. And you see they're all different colors and like different sizes, and they all just sort of wander over to you, and you can, you know, pick your pony, start to bond, and yeah, they're ready to be ridden. And Scrib just says, yes, you know, if you need a hand up, I'm here. Yes, and helps you all up onto your ponies and says, okay.
Do they
so,
look like? Do they look like normal horses?
They
Or
are,
ponies?
but they are exceptionally like sweet, and they've got little braids in their manes. and
Okay, I
little
was making
braids
sure
in
they
their
don't have
tails.
like My Little Pony cutie marks. Like I want the ones with
No
flame
cutie
decals
marks.
on them.
I love that that's what you thought. I thought like a beholder had a child of a horse.
No, I was thinking like a Hot Wheels decaled up pony.
No, and they
We thought
don't
you
smell
really
like
did.
synthetic vanilla. They're just
Oh my God.
just ponies.
Ew.
They smell
thought
pretty
really
good for
different
ponies,
things.
but still basically like ponies. So okay, you saddle up, and Scrib says, okay, so any other questions before we get started? It isn't far, I promise.
As I'm on my pony, I like kind of lean toward the ear and I say, "Can you talk too?"
Towards the pony.
Yeah.
And the pony just goes, it just blows air out of its mouth and just shakes its mane as if to say, sadly no.
I nod
gonna-
and I say, in a way you can talk.
It sort of stamps its foot a couple of times, and you figure that's yes.
I'm gonna like talk to the mountain lion and go, so do you have a name? Because I've been calling you Pretty Kitty in my head this entire time. And like I like if you have a name, I'd like to use that.
The lion just sort of looks at you and says, I like Pretty Kitty.
Okay, Pretty Kitty it is. Okay. That's
And then
okay.
it just lopes off into the woods. In fact, all of your animals kind of give you a final nod and head off into the forest. And Scrib says, you see, they're well-wishers. They are magical animals able to travel between the worlds and, you know, seek out our pendragons. They can talk, but most of the time they just get on with animal stuff.
It would have been cool if they
You
could have
really don't have
talked.
to raise your hand.
It's just what I'm used to. I just wanted to say earlier you asked how our trip through the Allswell went, and I just wanted to let you know that it did end well.
Oh, yes, very good, very good.
Okay, no.
We did land.
This is a sharp
We
bunch.
did land in a heap though. So did it end well?
I don't know.
No.
It was
saw
kind of a
talking
dog
animals and
pile
we got-
situation.
We saw
Well, I think it's
talking
ended
animals and we got
very well
ponies.
because it brought you here, and
No,
I'm
this
just
part great.
ecstatic.
I'm just saying the landing.
Oh, the literal land. Yes, we should really put a mattress or something down.
I mean, I was skydiving into my portal, so I didn't
Yes, you
expect
came
a
out at
soft
quite a
one.
velocity. Yes.
Yeah, maybe
I
that
kind of
was it.
was
Maybe
the
I knocked
mattress.
you over like dominoes when we came in.
Yeah, I just walked through. It was very chill.
I got pushed.
I'm just on my horse and going, there, Clopsy. We'll get there.
Clopsy!
I thought about this
Okay,
moment for a long time.
Making notes of horse names, definitely.
We ride Clopsy.
I'm gonna name mine Express so that they're the Pony Express.
I'm gonna do classic what a child thinks is edgy and go Shadow.
Oh,
Nice work. Nice
It'd be
work.
funnier if it's like a bright white horse.
Yeah.
It's just like it's got like a really cute like patch around its eye, and it's like
Oh.
Anybody else for pony names?
I'm trying to think of the best combination of gamer slang. Oh wait, no, I know, because I'm no, I'm
Yeah.
gonna, because I have my dancing hobby. Yeah, my horse is like I was gonna say a redhead horse, but they don't. I guess it's red all over. They're not redheads. Chestnut, yes, and I'm just gonna call him Orange Justice.
Orange Justice.
I thought you were gonna
that was
name.
not the answer we thought was going to happen there. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna have a pony named Poggers for a second. I was gonna
Oh no!
It's locked in. You can't change now.
Poggers is the kestrel's name in my head. Orange Justice, because he's my steed.
Oh my
Poggers
god.
to his friends.
Yeah, I can't like. I don't think Briar. I think Briar's thinking about the name. Me and Briar both. I don't think either of us have something.
Yeah, you have a
If
little
you
think about the
name
name.
them Rose, then you can have a full Briar Rose situation.
Right.
I did think of that, but Rose is. I think there's a better pony name than Rose, but maybe.
I don't know.
We'll come back to
Clopsy
it.
Mark II.
Yeah, I just named my horse
Clopsying.
after your horse.
Yeah, of course.
The funniest option is to name my horse after just one of you, but I won't do that. Like have the horse be named Bob.
There, Morgan.
Morgan, yeah. But you know what? I think I will name the horse Morgan.
Damn. Heck. I love it, but Morgan
You have known
hates it.
this person for minutes.
But already you have a personality. Yes, I take. It's mine now.
Yeah.
Sense of budding friendship. So
Adventure awaits.
okay, so you are heading through this lovely forest. You see little birds flying along. A couple of squirrels kind of poke their heads out to check out what's going on and then head back in. And Scriv is keeping up a long sort of chatter to Cecily. You sort of tone it out after a minute and you're kind of just heading along together. Does anybody make attempts at conversation?
What kind of scenery are we seeing as we move along?
You're in a forest, so you're like getting occasional glimpses through the tree line of maybe some kind of meadow situation beyond. You don't see any kind of real. You're on a path, so you've got a path that has been cleared, but you don't see any like real roads. It's very quiet and serene.
And if I go, hip yeah, Orange Justice, trying to steer him off the path, does that work?
Orange Justice does what you ask him to.
Okay,
and
because I'm
sort of-
basically like circling everybody, just looking at everything as I go.
Yeah, you're circling everybody, looking at everything, just taking in this whole world. You go a little bit off the beaten path and you hear a sound coming from the undergrowth, and you just hear this sort of like kind of sound.
Immediately imitate it back, trying to find out where it is. Arr!
Arr!
Arr! Trying to
The
Marco
script
Polo
just
with
sort
the
of comes up
noise.
beside you and just goes,
Arr! Oh,
what are we doing?
oh.
What are we doing? And then Sam comes
Marco
again,
Polo.
and he's like,
Arr!
and she's like, oh, that sounds like a Nimbus hatchling. Oh, Cecily, I think we're going to have to go off the path for a second. I think something's in trouble. And sort of spurs her own sort of pony on and sort of starts moving along through the undergrowth and sort of looks back at you and says, "Do you want to come along? I think we
Obvious.
should stick together."
Hip yards, Justice.
Okay.
I
so
have a
you all-
feeling they're not going to stick with us.
It's very important that you all stick together. You are an adventuring party, and you will see that once you discover your elements, you will all be so wonderfully complementary to each other. You know, it just wouldn't do to have an adventuring party with only one element or something missing, you know. Oh, and just carries on sort of rattling along about her own adventuring days and her own adventuring party and how she met Cecily, and Cecily just kind of like turns and nods whenever she gets like she just sees you all just sort of like getting bored. She just sort of looks back and is like, "Yep."
What
just
year
carries
did
on.
you come here?
And so Scripps sort of stops for a second and goes, "Oh, well, I believe it was 2001. There's no need to look shocked. It's you know, it's perfectly
The
fine.
way our characters would be like, we're not even alive. But
I was gonna
That
say.
was exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like, what's the maths of this? What year were we born?
I mean, I would have been 1 year old, so it's not too bad for me. But
I would have been too.
Scripps is like, "Well, there's no need to look so shocked, honestly," and just carries on going. You reach you see light up ahead. It's quite dark in this part of the forest because you've gone off of the path. So there is dense canopy over your head and the sun is not peeking through. And as I said, it was sunset when you're coming, so the light's starting to fade anyway. But you see a slightly lighter patch up ahead and you reach a part of the canopy that has been collapsed in. Something has fallen through, breaking the branches on the way down. And in the center of this patch of broken branch and sort of foliage, you see a large, maybe 8 foot from feet to tip of beak, stork type creature with a crest and white and grey plumage sort of lying there, and you can see that it is injured. One of its wings looks at slightly the wrong angle, and there are some wounds in its breast. And Scriv sort of leaps down from her pony right away. He's like, Cecily, look, it's a Nimbus hatchling. Oh, and sort of comes over and starts fussing and sort of like looks at you all and says, "The Nimbus, they are very important animals in this world. And this one, well, it looks like it's hurt. We must get it back to the cabin. I don't have the... Sita would be able to heal this, I think," and sort of looking at the wounds. You are going to have your first belief barrier.
Ooh.
So before you've even learned to shape, we're going to throw you right in there. We're going to do a 2-round belief barrier just to get ourselves warmed up for how this works, because we're all kind of newbies. So this is a level 2 belief barrier. We are going to go through 2 rounds of action trying to help this situation. I'm going to say the first round is figuring out how you're going to transport this creature, and the second round is trying to keep it calm while you transport it. Okay, so the way this works is I tell you the level, I tell you what the rounds are, and then you choose a leader for the first round. Every round of a belief barrier has a different leader that you nominate each time, but you choose a leader, and that is the person who will roll. The leader will decide what they're doing in this situation, and then you will all decide how your characters help them do this. They get a bonus to their roll for every one of you that finds something to do to help. And then we roll 3d6 and see what happens. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So who are we thinking for leader? I know that this is all very new. So if somebody wants to just put their hand up and say that they start taking action, that's also okay.
Dahi's willing to take action, but doesn't know what's happening. So I'm willing to go either way on that one.
I was gonna say either Dahi or Morgan, because Morgan seems to be the only one who actually knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And Dahi, because Dahi is the reason we found this creature, because he was just going,
Yeah, that's what Dahi does to help.
like
Found it.
trying
I found
to
it.
trying
The
to be
creature just
soothing,
looks
like
at Dahi and goes,
Well, trying to figure out what the hand motion for heal is, like.
the problem is there's probably going to be one of these days you're gonna do that and there's actual sign in there and then we all explode.
Yeah.
Fireball!
I would
Like-
suggest I'm very happy for Morgan to take the first one, but maybe Dahi could do the second one about keeping the creature calm, because you've already connected to them
yeah.
in that sense.
Power word kill.
No, Clopsy!
I always had it out for Clopsy.
What did Clopsy ever do to you? So what I would do, seeing this and so going, okay, remember the first aid training that you took, and nobody else wanted to do it because you wanted to be head girl, and so get off. And then I will take off the blazer. And you said it had like a broken wing or something, presumably too big. But
yeah,
we'll try.
one of its wings is at a strange angle as it's lying there in this foliage, it keeps trying to get up as well.
Well, I would offer to Scriv, who seems to, be the one in charge, or maybe probably Cecily instead of like the one in charge, and offer my blazer to help like create like a sling or something just to keep it raised in a certain way to make sure it's okay, and then offer some advice for slings. But that would be what my suggestion would be if I was going to take the lead on it.
So I'm going to say that what you do is you start trying to gesture with the blazer, and Cecily kind of nods and is already there trying to like, rip up. She pulls bandages out of her pack and starts like wrapping things around like bits of the legs where there's scrapes and bruises from falling through the canopy and things like that. Sort of checking over the creature to see what it reacts to. So you're going to try making a sling for it.
Yeah, I definitely tense up as presumably the blazer gets ripped, but I don't say anything.
Yeah, well, the blazer is in your hands. You're going to use it.
Well, I would. Okay. I think I would if I had to. So yeah, that's fine. But I definitely
if you had to. If you had
yes,
to. Okay. So what are the others doing to help this situation? There is this large 8-foot tall stork-like bird that keeps like struggling and trying to get up and sort of making this piteous sound as you see Morgan step forward, remove her blazer, gesture to Cecily. Cecily nods and she starts moving to try and sling this bird's broken wing. Is there anything that any of you want to be doing to help in this moment?
Ellie's gonna like get off the horse and try. Like, I know that the keeping the animal calm is the second part, but also if they keep struggling, we can't help them. So Ellie's gonna do like that. Like, we go near a horse because I think that's just a general injured animal thing. Like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Hi, pretty bird. Pretty bird.
Yeah, I go stork.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Stork. Okay, pretty storks are okay. Stork. Pretty stork.
Okay, great. I'm completely willing to change what the 2 rounds are, by the way. That was kind of a guideline suggestion. So we can do 1 round of action trying to calm it down and then do the transport bit. Whatever. We'll figure it out. So this is the first round. We've got Ellie trying to calm the creature down enough so that Morgan can tie on this sling and do this primary sort of first aid. Any other actions from anybody else to try and help out here?
I think Bobby will have read somewhere about using moss to kind of pack wounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And so presumably in this sort of green area, there will be some nice kind of spongy moss that she can find and pass along to Morgan to kind of stuff into the sling to make it more comfortable.
Okay, I'm going to say Scriv sees you doing that. It's like, oh yes, moss. I had heard about that. Very good idea, and starts helping you gather stuff up, and you're sort of doing a bit of a gathering. Oh, this is a good patch. So the 2 of you are helping with that. Dahi and
Briar.
I forgot Taylor's character. Briar, yes. What are you doing?
Bobby took my idea.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
You
So
can
I
cast
need
that.
can't think of anything helpful to do, and Dahi surely can't think of anything
I was
helpful
gonna
to
say.
do.
He just starts
Other
breakdancing.
than making noises like
Ellie's gonna see Dahi just kind of like and be like, come here,
okay.
and pet the stork gently to calm them down.
Do they like that? Like on the beak?
I don't. Okay, maybe
So
not the
you-
beak. But can
We'll see
Ellie
how it
grab
goes.
Dahi's hand really quick and just be like, show you how to pet the stork?
Okay, all right, so we have to roll to see how that's actually going.
Oh,
So
God.
our leader,
No.
please roll me 3d6 and add 1 for each of your companions helping, which I think everybody is,
Okay.
rallying around and trying to help. So you get to add 4 to
4.
this.
All right. Ooh, that is 4, 3, 2 plus 4, so that is 7, 9, 13.
13. Was that with the +4? Yeah.
With the plus 4, yeah.
Okay, great. So that is a success. So you step forward. I'm going to go in a weird order here. So the Ellie and Dahi, you step forward, and Ellie is showing Dahi how to pet this creature, and you sort of hit on sort of petting the sort of crest of the creature, kind of where its beak meets its crest, and kind of like slightly under its chin, like scritches, and it just sort of seems to sort of settle down and sort of lie back, and it's looking at you kind of trustingly, as if it's like, oh, you're here to help. Seems like quite an intelligent creature. So it's in pain, and you can see it shivering slightly. It's had a fright, but it is soothed by what you are doing. Bobby and Briar, you gather this moss and bring it forward, and Morgan, you sort of patch it around this broken wing, and you feel it for a second as you're feeling for where the break is. The creature sort of jolts a little, and you hear sort of your friends being like, oh, easy, 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 and then it soothes down, and then you use your blazer to kind of bind the wing to its side in a way that it's
Exactly.
not going to be bashing it or moving it around.
Mhm,
Okay, and between you all acting and Cecily and Scriv also binding most of its wounds, you have this creature, you've done what you can for it without the aid of magical healing, which from what Scriv is saying, you gather it will be able to get back at the questing cabin. So Scriv says, okay, great. Wonderful job, everyone. Now we just have to figure out how to get it there. Sort of looks at the bird and says, do you want to come with us? And the bird's like, ah. So
I
this
think
is
that was a
round
good
2.
honor.
Who do you nominate as leader for round 2?
I'm happy for Dahi to take the lead at this point.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
Only if you want to.
well- Dahi's whole thing was just gonna be scouting ahead to see what path. I mean, I guess once we get to the path, it's like a straight shot, right? Like there's no.
So yeah, Scriv says it's not a complicated path. This path was created to lead from the portal to the questing cabinet, so it doesn't meander.
Bird stretcher.
Okay,
I'm just
that's Dahi's suggestion, is a bird stretcher.
yeah,
right.
because I'm also thinking of like when you like you're carrying someone and someone gets the arms and someone gets the legs, but we're doing that with a big stork across 2 horses.
Horses, yeah.
That's not healthy and safe, I don't think.
Well,
Okay.
Ellie's gonna
so-
go like and ask Griv like, don't you have magic? Can you like do the shaping thing? I don't want to do that because like I know he's
Hadouken!
this seems like a language or something, and I don't know. I don't want to accidentally like say something offensive or
Oh.
accidentally blow. This seems like an actual language that people use, and I want to be mindful of that.
So you say that to Scriv, and Scriv just says, oh, well, so actually my specialty is water, so I have been using it little to clean the wounds, and Cecily's specialty is fire. So if you can think of a way where those things are helpful right now.
Hot air balloon.
No.
One would need a balloon. Yes. I think we can go. I mean, it's round 2. I think we can go with Dahi's suggestion of bird stretcher. I think it's a perfectly good suggestion.
Yeah.
So, what is Dahi doing to start making a bird stretcher?
Climbing trees, breaking sticks.
Okay, looking for some good sturdy branches. Great.
Mhm.
What is anybody helping with this? Can anybody think of a way that their Pendragon might be able to help?
Do we have any of our like items yet?
You
or
have
will they...
whatever was on you when you came through the portal. So this is not yet your sanctuary items, but things
Yeah.
that you had with you when you came.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have a blazer anymore, so
Oh, no.
I think to help seeing what Dahi's doing, I'll be like, oh, I read this about at wilderness camp, and I'll go and find some. Again, I know you described it as a forest, but maybe there's big fronds of pine trees that have come down, and then use put
absolutely,
that together.
yeah.
Yeah. So I will be helping
totally,
Dahi
you
with
can do
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go and find those to sort of build this kind of
I feel like
bower
you're
type thing.
very like meticulous looking, more like down looking for all these like pine stuff, and then you just hear crashes in the distance where I'm just like, that one wasn't strong enough.
but then I'm like, well, at least we have another one, and then pick that up. That's from what you've run down. So yeah, if there's not enough on the ground, you falling down to get some more. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Just like a few, like a shiver of pine needles, and then
yeah.
Anything from anyone else? You don't have to think of something for your character to do every time, but if anybody has anything else they want to put in before we roll.
I think I have something for Briar. I think because my like even though I was playing soccer before, my like actual hobby, like game mechanic wise, is pottery. So I think I'm gonna look for like see if I can find any like clay in the ground to kind of keep the like wooden like the joints a little bit sturdier, like where the things are kept together.
You absolutely can. You look around and you find some good clay earth in this sort of pine forest to use for that. Okay. Any more before we roll?
Ellie's gonna like still trying to keep the bird stork calm. Is gonna take some yarn out of her backpack and go like, we can use this to tie stuff together.
Yeah.
And like hand it to Morgan, who seems to be the person who knows what they're doing, and just be like, here you go. I don't want to mess this up.
Okay. I then take a moment to go, where should I put this? And look to Dahi, like, because obviously they're leading, but in my head I'm like, I know exactly where this goes. So I'm just waiting for them.
Trying to be a team player.
Yes, I'm like, this was talked about in the session, the therapy session before I left. So I was like, I need to be a team player. Yes.
Dahi's just like basically doing like a point around like it's and like looking at Morgan to see like the
Yeah, there's a slight curt nod every so often, and you're like, yes, there. So yeah.
Yeah, there.
like How I Met Your Mother when you're trying to spell professor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything from Bobby, or is Bobby just chilling?
I think Bobby might try and take over the keeping the Nimbus calm and just just while everyone's doing other stuff, just sort of tentatively try and pet and just like, it's okay, buddy.
Yeah, it seems to help. Okay, great. So Dahi, please roll me 3d6 and add 4 because all of your companions are helping you.
Okay, so that is 14. 6, 3, 1, 4.
Another success. So yeah, you succeeded on both rounds. You construct a really sturdy, impressive sort of stretcher for this bird, and with Bobby's help keeping it calm and sort of pulling it over, you convince it to sort of settle down on this stretcher. You have to keep keeping it calm as you travel, but you have figured out how to do that now, and it seems to have developed trust for you. And Scriv is just like, wonderful, that's great. Okay, so everybody who needs to back on the ponies, and I'll help carry this stretcher. We can make good progress. We're going to get back to the cabin before it's complete dark, I'm sure. And you are heading. It is quite dark now. and you rush as best you can without jolting the creature too much back to the questing cabin, where Scriv hands the stretcher, the side of the stretcher she's holding, off to Cecily and runs towards the lake. You realize that the questing cabin you're heading for is the cabin you could see down on a lake front from the high peak. And as you look up, you can see the peak where you were about an hour and a half before now. The portal is still glowing up there and casting a little bit of light on the scene. This big, beautiful lake and this lovely log cabin with a couple of stories. You see a couple of outbuildings. The lights are on inside. You can see candles flickering. And Scriv runs towards the lake and says, Sita, terribly sorry to bother you. I've got a bit of an emergency. And waits. He's like, oh, she won't like being woken. Sita, yes, I know you weren't expecting us till tomorrow, but please. And just looks really impatient. Suddenly, the water of the lake distorts, and this dragon head appears out of the lake. It's only about a foot long and then a long, sinuous neck. The rest of the dragon appears behind it. She's blue-green with golden spines and golden eyes. And she lifts out of the lake with a huge splash and sort of says, I was not expecting you till tomorrow. What is the nature of this? And looks around and sees you all, and then sees the injured creature and says, oh, a nimbus hatchling. How has this happened? And sort of comes forward and starts checking it over and says, these are very well bound wounds. I can see we have a good patch of pendragons on our hands this time. And sort of looks pointedly at Scriv, and Scriv's like, why do you look at me like that? What? Help the bird. What's wrong? And she says, it's this is very concerning. There are some of these wounds are claws. Did it have a fall? And Scriv's like, yes, it seemed to have fallen through the canopy. Some of these wounds are cold iron. Scriv looks and says, surely not. Nobody near here would have cold iron. Surely not. No. Sita looks and says, do you doubt my expertise? And Scriv says, oh, no. Absolutely not. No. Looks at you all like, no. Sita sort of lifts her clawed hands and starts gesturing very rapidly, and you see a trail of sort of water streaming down to the wounds and light as these wounds close up, and the creature seems to sort of shake itself up and stand up and tries to flap, but the blaze is in the way, and it sort of like pecks at the blazer and sort of starts doing the knot. Morgan, you can help remove it if you like. And
I definitely try to. There's definitely lots of peck marks in it, and I'm like, it's fine. It's not fine, but brave face.
Totally fine.
They ask you how you are, and you have to say you're fine, but you're not fine.
You're not really fine.
I have to write it in my mindful journal later, so yeah, I'm like, it's fine.
So the bird flaps its huge wingspan and sort of settles down and sort of looks at you all, and Scrib's like, why isn't it taking off? The bird sort of settles down on the waterfront, and Sita says, I've healed what I can, but really, a chick this young needs to be taken back to its mother. And looks at you all and says, I suppose after training tomorrow, you might have your first quest. Anyway, pleasure to meet you all. Get a good night's rest. Just trumps back into the water, these huge, like, golden wings and spines just into the lake and disappears. And Scrib says, so that was Sita. Yes, she's very nice. Who's ready to go and see the cabin?
That was a dragon!
Yeah, that was rad as
A
hell.
worm. We call them worms.
That was a big worm!
It still sounds mean.
Big friendly worm. Well, which is cool. So, okay, and sort of leads the way into the question cabin, where you find a open plan living space, big comfy couches, a large roaring fireplace, candlelight. There's a sort of corner kitchen area where you can see lots of colourful mismatched plates and mugs. There's some shelving where you see board games, blankets, craft supplies. And Script says, make yourselves at home. Yes, you'll see some things that were left from previous Pendragons. You see some of them were a big fan of Twister. There's a few different games and chess and Monopoly. I wouldn't suggest Monopoly. And various things. Pick your favorite mug. We'll have a hot chocolate and sit down and suppose we'll get about having some food before you go to bed, and we can talk about your sanctuaries. So yeah, that I think we will leave it for break there.
Oh, we're not going to tell everyone what our favorite mug looks like?
You totally can. What is your favorite?
Maybe we
mug
need the
look
break
like?
to think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
definitely
You
need
need the
I
break to
definitely
think
need
about
that.
it. That sounds great. We can talk about your
have to go
favorite
find
mug when
it.
we come back. And it looks like we have the thumbs up on going to break. So wonderful. See you all in 15 minutes.
Bye.
Hey, welcome back,
Hi.
everyone. Welcome back to Inspirisles. We just took a little break, and now we are back joining our new Pendragons as they have just arrived at their questing cabin. They have found themselves in a lovely log cabin. It's got a roaring fireplace, lovely open plan kitchen, living room situation, board games, comfy blankets, colourful mugs. We were about to hear what everybody's favourite mug is. Does anybody want to venture a favourite mug that they find in the kitchen here?
I do not own this mug, and I'm sure it must exist somewhere, but it just came out of my mind fully formed, like Athena or Artemis, whichever one it was. And it's like a very rounded mug that has like a squat little cat on it with two little front paws at the front, and then the ears come up from the top of the mug.
Oh my god.
I want that
So,
mug.
so yeah, if you're right-handed, then the ears are like on that bit.
Mhm.
Nice, nice.
Is the tail
Amazing.
the handle?
Yes, that's a very good point.
Amazing. Love it. Anybody else got a fave?
Bart Simpson's head. I said this the second break started. Or, yeah, started. I didn't need a second to think about it.
I just
So it's
needed
Bart
you to say
Simpson's
it on
head.
stream.
Yeah. All the spikes are still there. It's very uncomfortable to drink out of. Yeah, that's it. You can picture it easy.
Does it like have one of those sound sensors so that when you finish drinking it says don't have a cow, man?
Oh.
Cowabunga!
Amazing. So good. Okay.
We're just gonna use
Anybody
the
else
mug
got
that
one
I'm
to
gonna
mention?
use.
Sorry?
Well, show us then.
Yeah,
Show us the
it's
mug.
This is all. It's
Oh, a
Oh,
labyrinth
wow.
one.
Oh,
yeah, we're just gonna
nice.
say though, because magic, the pictures kind of move a little bit along the mug.
Oh,
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah,
Scoop's
but
kind
this
of
is-
in there, sort of like helping you pick your mugs, and it's like, oh, and this one was left by this Pendragon. Ooh, you know, oh, this one's been here a long time. Sort of talking you through which Pendragon's favourite mug that they left behind this was, and it's like, yes, yes, generations of Pendragons have come through this questing cabin and made it their home. You think this is exciting? I can't wait for you to see your sanctuaries. So, is everybody happy with their mug?
You can see Morgan's been like digging at the back of a cupboard, desperately trying to find something, and eventually pulls out a big mug, and on its side has her school crest. And she's like, "I found it. Okay, it's fine." And then it has that.
Oh, wow.
Briar
Well,
has like a big tankard from like another like older in time.
like, oh, that's not usually used for tea, but yes, I mean, why not? It's a receptacle. Okay, amazing. So, right. So the order of events. I think you should see your sanctuaries as soon as possible because I am just too excited to know what you think. So this cabin, as wonderful as it looks, is even more wonderful than you realize. You all have, if you go down that corridor, you will find a room with your name on the door. And that room is an extra dimensional space containing exactly the sanctuary that suits you as a Pendragon.
Like
yeah, we don't know how it works. No.
Just
So,
just like Encanto.
yeah, it's just I don't know what that is. If
Oh,
you
you're
could
missing
keep
out.
references to pre-2001, that would be a great help.
We weren't alive
Oh.
then.
Oh, that hurts my feelings. So,
Hey, you made it through Y2K, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that I've heard of, right?
yes, quite the
Yup.
event.
You must
yes,
have
I
just
made it through
missed out on
Y2K
Shrek.
and then immediately went through a portal and discovered a mystical
Wait,
land.
that's a good point. What month did you miss Shrek?
Did I miss what?
That's the
thought-
answer then.
I've already gone towards my room. Is
Okay, so yes, so mine, I loved it. I still have it actually, because I live here in the months where I'm settling in a new group of Pendragons. Mine is a library. It's wonderful. It's a library / performance space. So
That sounds
anyway,
right.
yes, thank you. I think So, yes, if you would all like to go now and find your rooms and see what's there, I'm sure you will be delighted with what you find. Spend a bit of time there, and then we'll all come back together and have some food, answer a few more questions if you have any, and then get a nice early night. Yes? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so GM mode. Who wants to go first with their sanctuary? I think Morgan was very keen and went right down the corridor. Do you want to tell us
The alphabet,
stepping
but
into
backwards.
Oh no! Do you want to tell us what
Yeah.
Morgan finds when she opens the door?
Absolutely. So I guess we getting away from the Shrek talk, which makes me feel quite sad as an adult as well as in character. I sort of walk quickly and I see my name sort of maybe burnt in wood on the door, and I'm like, just like it said it was be. Okay. And I open the door, and how I imagine it is, if you imagine what a second-hand bookshop would look like. So wall to ceiling books, but in that sort of maze sort of thing where everything is in an order, but you look at a normal person looks in and goes, "Where's the book?" And you're like, "Well, have a look." And so there's lots of like sort of the higher value of Calyx bookshelves essentially, and you go around and eventually you come to like a little bit and there's just beanbags everywhere. But more importantly, there is like a bay window that looks out onto the landscape of Inspirisles and on the islands themselves, and it's just like the perfect nook essentially. And there's like a little tea caddy station with drinks and stuff, and there's that beautiful smell of books essentially. And Morgan just goes, "Oh, perfect," and then just goes and grabs a book and just goes and starts to read.
Amazing. And while you're spending time in here, what 5 small items does Morgan find in her sanctuary that she's going to keep with her on her travels?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, as she sort of comes in, there's like another sort of alleyway of books, and hanging on it is the perfect dungarees. And she's like, "Oh, yes." And it's quickly out of the school uniform into the best kind of dungarees, because she's like, pockets. And then she picks up on like a shelf, there's just a library card with her name on it. She pops that in. And then she passes another thing, and there's a pack of playing cards. She goes, "Oh, magic," and then puts the pack of playing cards in her pocket. And then finally, left sort of on the window bay, there is a brand new journal and a perfect sort of like not a Parker pen, but like a pencil, but like the best pencil. She's like, "Yes," and it just has everything to hand. So yeah, that's her stuff. So dungarees, playing cards, a library card, and a journal and pencil.
Lovely. Oh, wow. That's great. Okay, so we leave Morgan to enjoy her peace and quiet in her book, in her sanctuary for a little while until she's ready to get curious about dinner.
Dear diary, what a day.
Exactly that. Okay, great. Yeah, let's go reverse alphabet. I can do that. Ellie, what does Ellie find?
Ellie is just walking, kind of like taking it all in as she goes along, and finally gets to it's one of the first doors, and it says her name, and it's like in this kind of fancy font, and she's like, "This day's been so weird. I just want to go to sleep." And she opens the door, and there's a giant canopy bed. But the canopy looks like it's like made of a shimmering fabric where constellations move across it. And she looks, and there's like shelves with all sorts of like little small knickknacks and things like that. And there's across from that, there's this giant wall, and it has pretty much every ADHD crafter's dream, where it's like every craft you can think of, the materials for it, where it's like, I have, a hyperfixation and then spend $200 on it and haven't touched it since, And so there's like a sewing machine and fabrics, but she's more paying attention to like all these skeins of yarn, like on these pegs. and like a collection of like crochet hooks, and she just immediately like goes for it, grabs one, and just plops on the bed. Like, I am exhausted.
Nice. And what are her, out of all of these small little things, magical little knickknacks and craft supplies and crochet hooks and yarns and threads and beads and everything, what are the 5 key things that she's going to take with her on her travels?
So she definitely like grabs a well, I'm trying to think what she doesn't have on her already, because she already has some crochet stuff on her. She's definitely just gonna quickly shove some yarn in her backpack. She also gets like a knife, because there's probably a knife there, because crafting sometimes needs sharp objects. And she's gonna be like, I don't know, that's gonna help with something. I don't know anymore. And she's gonna look around it underneath. She sees like a first aid kit, like a kind of basic, like obviously they don't have like our kind of first aid kits, but like someone clearly put something together, like in case of emergency, use this poultice or something. And she's gonna be like, I need that. I have a feeling with this group that this is necessary. That's 3. She's going to take this sharp looking crystal that when she touches it, it kind of shows like this constellations around her.
Nice.
She's like, I don't know, that's pretty. It might come in handy if we need to navigate. I don't know what's going on. And she's going to take a blanket. She's just like shoving this all furiously in her backpack.
It all like mysteriously fits perfectly in the backpack.
She's like, I don't know, I might get cold. We might need this.
Amazing. Okay, great. So we leave her packing her backpack and sort of looking at this wall of craft stuff and getting started on a new crochet project, or carrying on the one that she brought with her on the bed. Yes, of course. Lovely. Okay, and then we move over to Dahi. What is Dahi's experience with the sanctuary like?
Well, first off, you know that feeling when you're young and you lose your parents when you're grocery shopping and you like go up the middle aisle and you're like fuh, fuh, and then you have to keep going fuh, fuh, to see if they're down anywhere. That's what Dahi's doing to find his door. He's like huh, huh, huh. But he opens it up, and this room, I want to say it's in like, it's not 2 separate rooms, but it's in like 2 sections where he's the type that wants like the top bunk and the bunk bed, but it's just his room. There's no bunk. So there's like a rock climbing wall up to this like ledge where his bed is. And like around his bed is just like shelves full of trinkets, but also like empty space for more trinkets to put in. Are there like any organization? No, it's just, it looks like like Howl's Moving Castle, Howl's room, where it's just everything. It looks like the inside of a cell. And then on the floor itself, it's like a huge open space with like some mirrors on the wall for like like dance studios almost. And then I don't know, I think I think there's just like different forms of transportation there, and by transportation I mean like roller skates, like go-karts or something like that, like where it's just like I have a big open space and I can go really fast around this.
This is
and
a
that's
big
about
room, basically.
Yeah.
That you can like skate around. Great.
And then you climb up to your bed.
Sounds great. Okay, wonderful. And what are Dahi's items?
Well, he finds a new slingshot. This one's cooler because it's found in a magic room, so automatically cooler, and it doesn't give him any splinters. Headphones. Are they connected to anything? No. Does the aesthetic of wearing headphones around your neck seem appealing to Dahi? Yes. A kite that's like I don't know. I just saw kite and I was like, yeah, big kite. And for some reason I was also thinking paraglider, but we can cross that bridge when it gets to it. A belt, but like I was thinking like with the dungarees, I was thinking like this is like a utility belt. Like this is this is where you put the trinkets in when you're taking them home. This is trinket transportation belt. And then at the door of his room is this wind chime. It's not one of those like tinkling like crystal wind chimes. It's more those like reedy ones, you know, like hollowed out. And yeah, those 5 items.
Okay, that's great. When you say trinkets, are these? I'm picturing like things that have been found in the outdoors. Is that the kind of trinket that?
Yeah, cool rocks, feathers,
Stick.
No, the stick collection has its own area.
My
you
apologies.
carry, yeah, no, because you don't put them in pockets. You carry them home and you pretend you're a wizard or
That's
the
true.
third walking stick.
Correct.
So yes, the pockets go cool rocks, sticks. I know on the beach out here, I call it a beach. It's there's no sand or anything. It's rocks, but there are cool like you can find like shark eggs and things like that sometimes. So definitely stuff like that. No matter how smelly they can get. Um, yeah, just natural stuff like that that looks cool.
Amazing, so good. Okay, wonderful. And we leave Dahi just skating round and round and round, trying to like tire himself out before dinner. Great. We move over to Briar. What does Briar find in her sanctuary?
Yeah, I think as soon as she opens the door, it opens into like a greenhouse. And it's not like a huge greenhouse. It's like the kind of, you know, you would maybe like build in your backyard. It's like a little bit smaller. It's very like as soon as she comes in, the air is very like warm and humid, not uncomfortably so, but just like very like, you know, you move in and immediately it's like, oh, this is a different a different climate in here. It smells of like, you know, like rich like soil. And there's all sorts of like things growing in here, like all kinds of different plants that are on, you know, the different like they're not shelves, but I guess like the tables and like things like that like, you know, like in a greenhouse. And I think one corner of it is almost like an arbor, except for it's like these vines that are like climbing up the wall and then also climbing up like the sides to make like a little sub room basically, because it's like, well, you don't want your room to just be all glass on all sides, like not great for like changing your clothes and things.
That would be disastrous in Dahi's
Yeah.
case.
Dahi
Dahi shaped holes everywhere.
Yeah, just bust through. But there's kind of a little like nook in the side that's like these vines that have climbed up to like cover the glass on the side and then also like make some walls basically. And back in that area there's like a little like shelf and like some kind of like dresser kind of thing and then a hammock.
Nice. Okay, cool. And what are Briar's 5 items?
Yeah, I think she's like really excited when she comes in here because she like always would like garden with her mom, and this like reminds her of like the little greenhouse that like she has with her mom back home. And so she starts like kind of looking around excitedly and is going to find immediately grab some work gloves because she's like, well, if I'm going to be gardening, I need to make sure I have gloves. And actually, in figuring out what I wanted my items to be, I never knew the term for this, but it's called a hori knife, but it's a shovel. It's those shovels that are like kind of straight down that have like a little bit of serrated sides, like a little hand shovel basically, but they're for like cutting through like shoveling through like harder dirt or like cutting like roots and stuff like that. So like
It's for stopping the garden monsters.
Yeah, and well, yeah, that as well.
Yeah, take that green fly.
So so like a little shovel like that. And then I think as she's like kind of looking around exploring, she also finds a soccer ball, but it's in like the little net things that you like will carry a soccer ball in already. So she like picks that up and is like, oh, perfect. And then a little tin of like, you know how like you can have like the thinking putty, like the little tins of like putty. It's that, and when she opens it up, the putty inside, it's not clay, but it's very clay-like. So she kind of starts like kind of messing with it in her hand. And then I think the last item is in the little bedroom kind of area. There is sitting on top of the dresser a pendant necklace that has a piece of moss agate in the center of it.
Beautiful.
Nice. Lovely. Getting some foreshadowing for what Briar's element might be here. Lovely.
I don't know. I think it's hard to guess.
Maybe.
Is it fire?
Yeah, right.
You got it. It's fire.
Nice.
That would be
Thank you so
hilarious
much.
though if it was. It's just like, wow. Like
I
I
built
love
this
that
greenhouse
thing
to burn it all down.
I love that trope where it's like, fire mage, I have trapped you in the aquarium. And they're like, dude, I'm a water mage. And it's like, you're wearing red and orange. And it's like, yeah, I'm a autumn.
Faceted.
It's my skin tone.
Yes.
Amazing. So good. Okay, and then finally we have Bobby. What does Bobby find?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to guess what Bobby's element is as well. But as she goes in, she immediately recognizes this is like a much more comfortable, luxurious version of her room at her parents' beach hut. They have this like cranky little beach hut on a right on the top of like bank before it goes down into the beach, and you have to climb down these stone steps. So she looks out the window and I think she sees that view, even though it's a completely different place. And the walls are wood panels. And normally in this room she would have a bunk bed, but instead it's got a kind of little nook underneath with loads of cushions and pillows and drapes so that she can kind of make a little nest tent type thing. And then on top it's got this massive like almost double bed size bed where she could just kind of splay out. And she kind of sees a curtain over in the corner and thinks that's not usually there in this room. And when she pulls it back, there's a dark room back there.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And like when she sniffs the air, there's just like the slightest tint of salt in it. And in terms of her items, she in the dark room she finds a vintage camera with film in it. So she like is like, yes, I want to try experiment with this. And she also finds a necklace made of cowrie shells. So there's like very small little curly shells just made into a chain. And she also finds a journal kind of covered with stickers and sort of scribblings, and it looks like she has already decorated this, even though she's never seen this journal before. And she just knows that, yeah, I'm going to write some really sad poems in there. It's going to be great. She also finds an old rope that is kind of frayed at the edges but still really sturdy, and she remembers her stepdad like climbing up the sand dunes, tying it up so that she could climb up the sand dunes when she was a much younger kid. And so she's like, well, in adventures they always need a rope at some point, so
True.
that's going to be helpful. And last thing she finds is a feather from a seabird, and it's like no practical value, it just like looks really pretty, and she's like, I could probably like find a really cool setting and like take up a really cool photo of this. So yeah, that's her 5 objects.
Oh,
So you're a
beautiful.
fire mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire mages all around. Yeah. Great. Amazing. So you spend some time in your sanctuaries, you get used to this space, you have a breather, you haven't been alone for a second since you got here. You get a chance to center yourself in this environment that's perfectly crafted for you. And you all emerge one by one when you're ready to, and join back together in the main room where Scriv is enthusiastically chatting to Cecily using sign language, chatting away, and looks up when you come in and says, "Oh, wonderful! Oh, well, we're all here now. That's great. So we'll have some dinner." And you look over, and in the corner of the room, you see the Nimbus hatchling has kind of been given a load of the couch cushions and like fluffy blankets. It's like, we made a sort of temporary nest. I think at this age they normally have their mother's warmth, so I was worried. It seems okay. The bird's just sat there kind of like preening its feathers and sort of looks up at you as if to acknowledge you, and just looks and then carries on preening.
They can stay in my room if they want.
Oh, well, absolutely. I suppose you'd have to ask them if they want to. Yes, Nimbus. It's not very polite to call it nimbuses. They are nimbus birds, but I don't have a name for it. And the bird just sort of looks up. It's like, Ellie says you can stay with her, and the bird just sort of like looks at you and sort of tilts its head, sort of almost like a thank you, and goes on like preening. It's like, okay, so I've made a stew. I suppose we'll eat. I just wanted to give you all a chance to ask any more questions you might have. I hope you all liked your sanctuaries.
If we enter someone else's sanctuary without permission, are we going to disintegrate?
No, it's just, it's the same rules as a bedroom at home. It's just not very polite.
Definitely the stomach of Morgan has fallen through the floor at Dahi saying that. I'm like, oh no, I need to put a lock on my door.
If you enter my sanctuary without asking, I will throw the heaviest thing I can find at you.
Maybe I was thinking about you guys coming into my room without permission, huh?
I would ask for permission.
I like the
My
idea that
room's cool as hell. I don't need to be in your room.
I like the fact we might have passed Dahi's room on the way there, and there's just noises, there was smells,
slamming
explosions.
sounds.
And
It's
Morgan
an
was like,
interdimensional
nope.
space. You only get it when he opens the door. There's like a
right.
raft of
Yeah, but
smell of
he's
trinkets.
slamming into the door for sure.
Definitely Morgan will go, nope, room full of nightmares, and then carry on walking straight down to
He
the
keeps falling from the rock climbing wall, trying to get into bed.
The floor at the bottom is like perfectly smooth, so he can keep sliding around on his socks, but he has no control.
So, wonderful. It seems like you're all happy. Now, hopefully you found some items in there. You should have been drawn to 5 items. Oh, good. I see you all nodding. Wonderful. So those are very important. You keep those on
So it's
you.
not stealing?
No, those are for you.
Okay.
It's very important that you keep them on you. They can be infused with belief. So you will go out into the world and you will complete quests and you will gather belief. And that belief can be stored in those items. And we have a very special artisan who will be on site, Bacto. He's a fae, one of the fae, a knocker to be precise. I suppose when I first met him, I thought he looked like a rather large mole. But he's not a mole, he's a knocker, and it's best not to call him a mole, I have learned. But he can infuse those items with belief, and then when you use them on your questing, you get a little bit of extra zhuzh, a little bit of extra bonus to your abilities. Yeah, you really don't have to put your hand up, Raya, but
I'm just used to it.
okay.
If we touch someone else's items, will we disintegrate?
No, there will be absolutely no disintegration. I can promise.
So it's like Star
Is
Wars.
zhuzh the technical term for what we get?
I think it's just maybe. I've never been given a technical term. It's just the best I've got. Yes, Ellie. Still, you don't need your hands up.
Listen, I'm American. I have to raise my hand for permission for everything. So, but I did forget my question, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry it took you that long to
Oh,
get to.
I remember now.
Oh.
Sorry.
Do carry on. Do. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Ellie.
So I think I picked the wrong item, son, because I got a blanket, and I don't know how. I just thought I'd get cold.
Well,
So
I mean,
I should
being
probably.
warm is very useful. You can. I
It's a
yes.
blanket. I don't know how that would help in questing stuff. I just took stuff that looked cool.
I can think of many uses for a blanket. We could have used it today when we were making a stretcher for the bird. We could have caught something falling out of a tree. We could have comforted the Nimbus chick with a blanket. It's got a lot of uses. But of course, if you feel that there's other things in your room that you are more drawn to that would work better for you, then
Is this like the
absolutely that is your
blanket from
choice.
your bed?
No, there was just a pile of blankets. I mean, it is like
Okay.
a blanket I could use on my bed, I guess. I have a canopy. You have permission to come see my room right now. I won't throw anything if you come see the sanctuary after this, but like if you
Okay.
that's not like a
Oh,
Oh.
constant permission, like you could just after because like it's kind of cool. You can see later. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure by a few days' time you will all be fast friends in and out of each other's sanctuaries with consent all day long. So yes, I'm sure you will all see in plenty of time. Surely you will have more questions though. This is all very, very big. I know it's very disorienting. Or would you rather just play board games? Am I just forcing it? Would you rather just relax?
No. I then, realizing that we're doing a hand thing, I will also put my hand up.
I think Ellie was just there first. Ellie?
So my thing is I have so many questions that I can no longer process the questions that I have. And so I do have questions. I have so many questions. I don't know how to ask those questions because I don't know what those questions are right now. So I really need to like just take it like after this. Can I like ask you later? Because I really don't have time to ask them right now.
Oh, I will be
Because I
available to
can't
you
think
for
of it.
quite some time. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be. You're going to be stuck with me for a little while. Helping you settle in and all of that. So, yes, absolutely.
So
If there
you're
are
not just
questions at
gonna
any point, yeah.
so you're not just gonna walk into the woods like Pretty Kitty and the others because like
No.
they just brought me here and then dipped.
Well, no, absolutely not. No,
Okay.
I'm here for you. No, yes,
Okay.
yes. Morgan, do you still have your question?
Yeah. Sorry. Why have we been brought here? Like I've done extensive research on the Pendragons, and I know about the thing, but is there a big mission? Is there like I just want to make sure that we are all very much prepared for it.
Right. Yes. So, well, now for the sort of slightly sad news, the world tree. Did you hear about the world tree in your research? Oh,
I did a little bit, yeah, but not too much. There wasn't much on it.
okay. So the world tree is sort of the center of the spiritual life of the islands. The state of the world tree reflects the health of the isles and their people. Um, the Fae spend their lives gathering belief to heal the world tree. The world tree is wounded and has been badly wounded since the war with the worms. And it is our duty to gather belief and heal the world tree. So every generation comes and helps towards this great mission.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Sure, but you said there were other Pendragons before us. Did
Yes.
they do it and failed?
They helped along the way. It's unfortunately it's the kind of wound that needs continual help. It would be great to heal it once and for all, and if you are the generation to do that, then that would be wonderful. But many generations have offered belief to the world tree over and over, and it keeps going and it heals and it gets better, but the wounds forever there are forces within these lands that,
Forces? What kind of forces?
well, darkness, disbelief, those who want to commit acts of violence, cruelty, greed. These things unfortunately exist, and when they are enacted, the disbelief gathers and the wound in the world tree grows. So ever it is a push and pull of light and dark, and you are the forces of light. You and many others working around the islands to gather belief. Yes, Ellie.
So is this like a I do believe in fairies kind of thing where we fix it, or is this like the end of Elf when everybody starts singing Christmas songs and Santa Claus comes back?
They don't know Elf.
I,
Did
I
Elf come out
do
after
apologize.
2001?
I am English.
When did Elf come out?
Oh, wait. No. I thought you said Alf. No, Elf.
No, not
no.
Alf. Elf.
No, Elf.
The thing that eats cats.
Yes, I was confused. I don't know the lore of Alf.
Quick Google says Elf came out in 2003. Just missed it.
Damn.
Yeah.
No.
We
So-
need a spreadsheet.
Cultural
This is
references
a,
pre and post 2001.
This is definitely a. Those two things sound similar to me. I don't know. Belief is both a magical force and the thing that you feel in your heart when you trust something to be true. And
But it's
here,
like
that manifests as magic, because this is a magical place, and you Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, do we just like scream out that we believe in something like you did in Peter Pan? Like,
Oh.
I do believe in fairies, and then everything gets better? Or is it a thing where we have to like get everyone else to believe it by like singing songs and like
I believe I have laser eyes.
I jolt
No.
away.
No.
I still think this might be an actual language.
No, it's
that we have to.
It's not like that. It's more of a. It's more of a case where there are certain things that increase belief in the world: generosity, kindness, friendship. These things increase belief, and all the forces of good are engaged in those things. But also, you in particular will be engaged in the part where we try and prevent the darkness. So finding instances where people are creating disbelief and putting a stop to it. Yes,
So
Brian.
My Little Pony was right. Friendship is magic.
Yes, Brian.
You don't know that reference either. I'm sorry.
Why do people do things if they know it's going to hurt the tree? Like, why are people doing the things that create the darkness if it's bad?
Why
for
are
the
people
tree?
bad? Why is anybody bad? I suppose.
But
There
like
are
where we're
factions-
from, there's not a tree that you can see that gets hurt when you're mean.
There is an ozone layer that gets hurt when you be
yes,
bad for the environment.
I left in 2001, but I believe we had global warming then.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
that's
I don't
still
know where-
happening, absolutely.
I've got bad news for you. It got
We
worse.
didn't fix that? Oh no.
I don't
dear.
understand why
No.
we have that either. I mean, I've asked that question at school before, and
If we could figure it out, I mean, one of the ways that you might go about your quests is to find the people creating disbelief and reason with them.
Sorry, Scriv, just to... Oh, so go for it, Bobby. Go for it, Bobby.
Oh no, that's
Can we get a cool sword?
potentially.
We really
Bobby,
went
did
from
you have a question?
philosophical.
I was just wondering, how do we know when we've done enough? Because even if we don't do enough to heal the tree, how do we know that we've finished?
Well, yes, you will complete your training as Pendragons. Essentially, there's kind of, when you speak to Sita tomorrow, it'll make more sense. You have your levels of shaping capability, which right now you're at 0. And tomorrow we will get you hopefully to the start of level 1. And you will learn your basic shaping and be able to manipulate whichever element speaks to you. And you will go out into the world and you will quest and come back and train and quest and, grow. And then, it's less of a case of you completing a mission sometimes than it is a case of you having done your due, having done your duty. It's like a service that you do as part of Guinevere's legacy.
So,
Yes, Ellie.
so did helping? We really need to give you a name. She says to the Nimbus, like, did helping them do good? I'm not saying that's why we did it, but like, is that like a?
Yes, it did good in the world, for sure. Yes, that was a good thing that you did, and it was wonderful to see this new generation of Pendragons, you know, already doing the good work.
Are the elements like Pokemon types? I know you know that one. That one is in the 90s.
I do. Yes.
They added new ones, but you know the basics.
A bit, but there's only 4.
Only for Pokemon?
I know.
I think me and Bobby are just sitting there eating our stew quietly, and I'm like, I like your camera.
Thanks, I like your journal.
Thanks. And that's it.
I have a question. Why? How come Morgan knows about all this already, but none of the rest of us did?
That's a
Morgan's a
good.
nerd.
I think more than you were just talking about Pokemon. I think more than one of us are nerds.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
But I
You,
don't read
you
books.
skydived into a magical portal. I don't know what makes you get off thinking you're not a nerd, buddy.
Well, she's
But
got
I'm
you
like,
there.
cool though.
I'm just
be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at Morgan like very like, what's the deal here?
You're
I
sus.
First of all, rude. The second of all, I just like reading. Scriv, sorry, you didn't really say what would happen if the worst case scenario happens and we don't help. That there's more disbelief. Like, what happens? Is that just the end of everything?
Well, I think it's bedtime.
Suddenly
I don't
crushing
have all
anxiety
the
if we don't win.
I have another question.
Sita will answer a lot of these tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I'm
I have one
exhausted.
more question. You said you were here for us, so please
Okay,
answer.
the final question. You see, Scriv is like regretting.
Wait, my
being
one's
like,
way
"Is there
more
any
important.
questions?"
My one's way more
No, it's
important.
not. Anyways.
No, it is.
No, it's not. So, okay, can we do 2 questions? Because that's not a question, but I have a question. He has a question. Okay, so, like, if we're doing good for the sake of fixing the tree, then doesn't it become less of a genuine good? And doesn't that mean that it's not really helping the tree? Because we're only doing good for a benefit to ourselves and not for everyone. Like, not like when we helped, you really need a name. When we helped the Nimbus, then that was a genuine thing because we were like, oh, it's a creature who needs our help. That's fair. But now that we know, did that somehow kind of like poison the fact that any good we do might be seen as us just trying to get this over with and help the tree? So that makes it less good by comparison, which means then that it's not helping as much.
Can we use our tongues to do magic as well? Like, need our sword.
Scriv looks immediately at Darky and says, "No."
I just love the juxtaposition between the 2 questions.
Whether you want to get this over with or not, you are dedicating your time and effort to helping a world that is not your own thrive. That is a good thing. Whether it becomes a magical time like it is for so many Pendragons, whether it becomes an amazing adventure, the best time of your life, something that you never want to end, or whether it just is a duty that you must fulfill and you do, it's more of a serious slog. I think it will be the former. Either way, you will have done good. And we don't always enjoy doing good. And sometimes we do, and that's fine as well. I think that answered the question. I don't know. I really am terribly tired. Terribly tired. And then Scriptus
sounds
gets up
fake,
from the
but
table and
okay.
is like, I will see you all tomorrow. And, I'll see you at breakfast. Don't stay up too late. And yes, we will talk more. And tomorrow you will get to learn your first shapes and we'll figure out what element you all are. Wonderful. Okay, good night. And sort of heads off down the corridor like... sort of muttering to herself, going, this is good or not. Tongues? Okay. So, you all stay and chat for a little while and then head off to your sanctuaries one by one. I don't know who would stay up the latest or why. It is definitely Dahi.
Yeah.
And you all
Dahi's out here knows that Screeve wouldn't understand the reference because this is 2005, but it's like, I'm absolutely the Avatar, guys. I know it. I know it. I connected to all the elements. There's just no way that I'm not. And it's okay.
I feel like you're the fire person.
No, because there's 5 of us, you see? So 4 of you get each of the other elements, and then I get all of them.
Maybe you don't get any.
I'm not Sokka here. No, I'm cooler than that.
I whispered to Bobby.
Is cool.
I whispered to Bobby, it's like, God, the confidence of a small man, and then leave.
I mean,
the audacity of men.
Yeah, I kind of think to myself, both kind of mean and kind of true.
I feel like you're the fire person, and that already scares me.
Like, it's not. No. Like, because then I'll have like.
I feel like whoever has water is gonna have to put out a lot of fires that you accidentally start because your first instinct was to, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to start making random hand gestures in the hope that something sticks without knowing what it means.
Maybe it would have made me like see through time or something. Fireball isn't the first one.
That's not an element.
That's not an element.
Oh, but like.
Good night. I say.
Okay, this conversation continues for a little while, explaining
Welcome to the
Dahi what
Pendragon
is
Roast
and
of
isn't an
Dahi.
element. Okay, and then you all get to sleep, and you dream. Every single one of you. And each and every one of you has a dream of the islands. And it feels like a memory, but it's not your memory. But you're there in the dream. It feels so vivid, and you know the people that you're looking at, and you know the places that you are. And I want to go around and see what those dreams are of your ancestors here.
Machete alphabetical order. Chaos.
Okay. All right. Okay. I will just say who wants to go first.
True chaos.
That doesn't work. Alphabetical order has its merits.
It does.
I'm happy
I'll
to
just go in the order that you're on my screen. I'm going to go with Nox. Nox, will you tell us what Ellie dreams of first?
I was just double checking who my person was to make sure I got it. Okay. So Ellie is dreaming. She's not quite sure where she is. She's like in a undergrowth. Is it like the dream is of who our friend is?
It's, yeah, you have a dream through the eyes of one of your ancestors who had a strong bond with one of the friends, one of the fae of these islands.
Ellie is like walking through, or the ancestors walking through the undergrowth, and as they trip and start to fall, they're kind of like caught by a creature that kind of just pulls them back up and kind of just looks at them kind of exasperated. Kind of the way Ellie's been looking at Dahi all day. Where it's just kind of like, You're precious. You are, and I care about you. You're killing me here. Where, and they just like, can you please try to be more careful? And like the James' face as she's like staring into this creature's eyes.
What does the creature look like?
That's a good question. I need to pull up the game book again because I forgot what they look like.
Okay, I can do that. They have.
Yeah.
They are a goat person, essentially. They are wearing sturdy boots, traveler's gear as you're walking through these lands, and they have white fur, the elongated pupils of a goat, and curved white horns. But otherwise, they stand upright, they walk, they have functional hands as they lift you up, and they look at you and give you that look and say, please try to be more careful. You carry on, and you have a memory that one of your ancestors spent a lot of time with a people called the Capra. Okay, great. Next up on my screen, we have Taylor. Tell us about Briar's dream.
Yeah, I think Briar's dream at first is like really confusing and kind of like scary, actually, especially because she doesn't understand like what's happening. But it's just this enormous, like rising up above her, this enormous, like automaton kind of thing that has like steam coming out of like all of its little the little like spaces between the rivets, and it's like very very big, and it's just kind of like stomping around through things, and there are all of these I guess I don't know how big they are. I was imagining they were very small, but they might be the same height as as Briar.
I think that in this case, if you're thinking of the Piskies, they're probably about 3.5 feet tall, kind of
Okay.
sized.
That's what I was thinking, and then I was like, I guess there's not a scale. There's not like a thing here that I know what they are tall compared to. So
we make them what scale we want them to be.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
mine's a goat.
It's a goat person about the same height as you. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they're like roughly like gnome height. These creatures that are like have like green skin and very kind of like wild green and blue, like flowy hair, and a lot of them are wearing like goggles and things like that. And they're all kind of like running around. There's a lot of like commotion happening in this dream. And I think it's like kind of like that POV thing, like when you're watching a movie and it's like, oh, this is POV, is kind of what the dream is like. And Briar sees hands that aren't hers but are coming like from the direction of like where her body would be, that form these shapes in front of her vision that she doesn't understand, but this energy flows through them and goes up through this automaton and just kind of like fuses it like from the feet all up into one piece until it's standing like a statue. And then all of the Piskies, we said the name of them, kind of rush over towards her and are like celebrating and cheering, and like the crisis has been averted, and that's when Briar wakes up.
And you have this feeling that if you were to meet the Piskies, that you would have this connection to them, and that this is an important memory. Okay, great. Next up on my screen, Fiona, tell us what Morgan dreams.
So yeah, there's definitely Morgan probably is snuggled up in the book nook, as it were, writing, and then sort of like falls asleep and then wakes up in pretty much the same position, but like almost seated at a really long wooden table, surrounded by, again, it feels like the library we first saw in, but just massive, like 40 feet tall ceilings, books everywhere, possibly flapping around, depending on your choice of magic. And in front of her is like a scroll or a tome of some sort that she was writing in. And she's, oh, sorry, and then finishes off the sentence, puts a dot, a period in it, and then pushes it over to a creature who is the same height as her, I've decided, sort of like almost like owl-like, but with sort of massive angelic wings and beautiful sort of blue and yellow robes. And actually, there's quite a few of them all dotted around, and they all sort of look over at this tome and go, they sort of nod approving. And I think it's like the first time, because Morgan really hates, is obviously quite anxious about like, oh god, people checking her work and stuff like that. But this is, she's super cool. It's almost like she's done some sort of declaration or something like that, and has signed off on something. And then there's almost like a polite golf clap from these creatures in a big library.
Yes.
And it's just basically lots of scholars looking around at this particular final piece of work.
Okay, great. And you know that these people are called the Glow, and that they are scholarly creatures who live in this land not far from where you are right now. And you feel that one of your ancestors did something really important, but it's just slightly out of memory. Great. Okay. Maddie, tell me about Bobby.
So Bobby is in this massive raised bed, and even though it's so huge, she's like curled up into a little ball right in the middle of it, like clutching a soft toy. And she drifts off into dream, and she's in a terrible storm. The rain is beating down from above. There's lightning in the distance, and she can see a very faint light just very far, like on the horizon, and she like pushes her way forward and is just wanting to reach it, and then falls down and tripping over a root and into a puddle and just absolutely soaked. And it's at that moment that a creature comes out from the darkness, and it is a humanoid creature but with very worm-like, as in dragon worm-like characteristics, so like spikes and fronds and scales, and offers a scaly hand to help her up, and starts to guide her gently towards the light in the distance. And that's when the dream moves on.
Okay. Yeah, you know that you have a strong connection to a group of fae called the Wormbitten, who are in fact descended from worms, which is where they get their regal appearance from, but are known as the kindest of the fae. Okay. And finally, we check in on, and I do this with trepidation, Dahi's dreams. What is Dahi dreaming about?
No, this one's cool.
I bet it's cool.
Set myself up. First sentence. So the dream starts with like this. It's like obviously this person's view of just basically like parkouring through this city. There's this sense of being chased, but there's no looking behind them to check. It's just full tilt running. So there's this sense of like adrenaline, but also joy with it. And they're being flanked. This person's being flanked by these two also bird-like creatures, but they're more sleek and sharp, where the other birds would have been like more puffy and regal. All in like tattered clothes and very much like very very much like tattered clothes and like cowls and things like that, and they're clearly trying to make a quick getaway. And there's just like dodging, weaving, things like that. They finally start to turn a corner, and you hear the footsteps in the background move out of the way, and after like a breath of air, it's just absolute laughter and chaos and mayhem, followed by the steps starting to come closer because of all the laughter. It drew whatever was chasing them back, yells and shouts, and then the running commences again. The two glimmer on either side of this person grab their hand, and they jump off of this like tall building, and it's like that you know those moments in your dreams where you do fall off of something, like maybe it is a tall building, maybe you just trip over something in your dream and you jolt awake. That's what happens with Dahi, but it's less of like an anxiety feeling and more like just when you're going over a roller coaster, like that kind of like the good swoop in your stomach, you know.
Yeah.
But he still falls off his bed and onto the floor, the other floor, the
Oh.
bottom floor.
Oh my god!
Miraculously unhurt.
Yeah. He knows how to fall at this stage. You gotta
And then
drop
we
your
were down to 4
Yeah.
pen drag or
Mhm.
3 pen. I can do math.
Wow.
Ah, yes, the true avatar.
It
Dahi
is
wouldn't
like
wanna
that
go
moment in the
Pegasus.
Avatar opening where it's like he has a lot to learn before he can help anyone. Smack.
Oh my god, I want
Okay.
Dahi to have air bison.
So wonderful. You have all had your dreams. You meet up at breakfast and Scriver's there, like dishing out the eggs and bacon toast and just sort of like, good morning, wonderful. Oh, how are your dreams? Anybody have any interesting dreams?
I'm kind of surprised that you like. So that's like a thing that happens, but you didn't say that to us. And
I
my
was gonna
dream was kind of
say, you-
scary.
You didn't want to tell
Oh.
us that was gonna happen?
Well, I just thought it'd be nice for some things to be a surprise. And also, I was so terribly tired when I went to bed. I'm very, very, very sorry.
I got
was
surprised
like,
out of my bed and 10 feet down onto the floors, so that was really good, actually.
are you? Oh, and Scriv comes over. And is like, are you okay? We could get Sita in to heal you. Is anything?
No, I'm fine. This is like not the this is not the worst fall I've had this week, so.
Okay.
You just fell 10 feet. That wasn't the worst fall you've had this week.
I swear I have done this before. By the way, it's just not normally this chaotic. But I'm glad you're all okay, unharmed, and you know, I guess that in your dreams, hopefully, you met some of the Fae. Yes, wonderful. Yes,
I
your
met a
descendants
goat.
of. Oh, yes, that would be the Capra. Yes, wonderful people.
I met a
You'll be
bird person.
a bird person. There's a couple of options for that. Glow,
The
like
coolest
an angel.
ones.
I looks at you for a second, assessing what you would think was cool. The glimmer, yes.
That doesn't
That's
sound
what's-
very cool, but
Do
yeah.
you have one? Did you have a dream of like a group?
Yes, mine are the Booker. Yes, turtle people. Very nice. Yes. I dreamt mine a very long time ago, and when I met them, I realized that an ancestor of mine had had a really good, strong bond with them. The Glimmer is an unusual one because the Glimmer don't normally. They aren't. Historically, the Glimmer have not had the best relationship with Pendragons. But that's great. That'll be a wonderful boon for your party to have a member who gets along with them.
If I meet one of these Glimmer and I do something really embarrassing, like I bend over and my trousers rip, will my ancestors in the distant future dream about that incident? Like, do I really have to nail the first interaction?
I think I mean the dreams really
Uh-huh.
it's magic, so it's hard
Yeah.
to say, but the
Mm.
dreams really usually portend a strong positive relationship with
Yeah, but what if they
the
find
Fae.
it really funny though that my trousers ripped and steal my underwear?
I think unless you also found it funny, I don't. I mean, also,
I would find it funny.
well, then I think that's wonderful that preemptively you've already formed this wonderful bond with this group of friends.
I
Okay.
need you all to know that Gask almost made me joke because I was eating right when Dahi said that.
Oopies.
So, I mean, really, my point is that the dreams really only point to things that your ancestors themselves felt were positive, and so did the Fae that they engaged with. So it could happen, but only if as you grew and matured, you felt that it was a good thing that that had happened.
I
Bobby,
fell.
who did?
Sorry?
Like that was mine. I fell, and the Capricorn, the
Capra.
Capra.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna keep accidentally saying Capricorn or Capra, but the Capra like helped me up. That's the most positive memory my ancestor has. Are
Well,
you
no,
kidding me?
that's not about, and it's not the memory itself. It's the sort of, the start of the relationship. I mean, maybe later on you'll dream of other things that your ancestor did with the Capra that forged that bond. Really, the dream is meant to signify that you have a bond with that group of Fae, and if you were to meet them, then they will, respond very positively to you because they will feel the the bond passed down from your ancestor.
What about you, Bobby? I look across. I hand over some bacon.
And just like sticking some bacon in my mouth and then realizing that just chewing really quickly to get rid of the bacon and then continuing. I think mine looked kind of like Sita but more person shaped.
Oh, the worm bitten.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds.
lovely. Yes, they live up north in Chedscale. Yes, great healers traditionally.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So
If we get bit by the worm outside, do we turn into them?
No,
Damn it.
I know. It's yes, it's wonderful. The Fae are all wonderful, but they, for the large part, will think you're wonderful as well. So, without further ado, do eat up. It is time for you and to go and train with Sita. Is everybody ready? Yes. Okay. You all eat up, and you are taken out to the lakeside, and Sita is there waiting. This large dragon form sort of looks at you all and says, "Good morning. It is a pleasure to meet you all in slightly more predictable circumstances."
I bow very deeply.
That's quite unnecessary, but appreciated.
Will you bite me? I have to test out a theory to see if I was being lied to.
She opens her mouth and she sort of goes, "Ha ha, right."
I don't know, break skin maybe?
She sort of pulls away. I do not. I think that would be not preferable.
How hard
Well,
were you gonna bite? Were you willing to bite?
I just a little nibble.
Try that.
I feel
I guess.
yeah, try a little nibble.
You feel like the slightest pressure of like teeth into your skin.
I'm focusing so hard, I'm transforming.
Is this part of the training, Sita?
Not usually.
Okay.
So,
I make a note in the journal.
It doesn't matter, the bird people are cooler anyway.
the first thing that we need to do is figure out what your element is going to be. So, we will try out some rudimentary shaping. Now, the first thing that you will learn in shaping is how to fingerspell. That is, you will learn to shape with the alphabet. You will shape in a signing space, which in this case is from here to the top of your head, out to either sides of your shoulders. You will sign to be understood by anybody watching you. This is for safety reasons, so that they can know what you are doing. You can use your left hand or your right hand, whichever is your preferred dominant hand, but do know which is your dominant. With fingerspelling, and she takes you through the alphabet of fingerspelling. Now, GM note for those watching the stream, we have decided that some of our casts will use BSL, British Sign Language, some will use ASL. So there may be a slight difference in the signs that you see them using. We will also not be grading anyone on their signing because none of us here is an expert at signing. We are all learning and doing our best. So Sita shows you how to spell out air, fire, water, and earth. You should all have the alphabet in front of you and be able to basically figure out how to do those. And she takes you through trying to shape using each of those things. And she sort of, all of these elements are present. And she shows you there's kind of a brazier kind of burning away. There's the lake, there's the earth underneath you. And obviously there's an air all around you. And she runs you through some basic tests and exercises to see which you identify with. So for the final time this session, we're going to go around and have each person tell us how they figure out what their element is. And we will go in the reverse order from what we did before for funsies. So how does Dahi realize what his element is?
I think he speed spells everything because he's like, I got all of them. I might as well just go through them. But through his rush, just didn't get anything. And then they were like, okay, take it slowly. We'll go alphabetical order. Air. And then he does is it A? Now I forgot how to spell normally. I or and I guess what does it look like to resonate? It just gushes of air.
It's
A
your magic.
breeze picks up.
It looks how you want it to look.
Okay, then I think like he immediately gets this like puff of wind like blowing in his face, like this gust of wind. He's like, okay, one down, easy. Earth, and then goes through Earth and nothing happens, and then he's like, uh-oh, maybe I'm not the Avatar, and then tries fire and water. Nothing again, and then does air the second time just to make sure he's not the Sokka. And another gust of wind happens. And that's how he's like, okay, I got one of them.
And Sita comes and says, very good. It seems like you have a strong affinity for earth. That is a good, strong start. I will say that when you spell, you should, instead of saying each letter, say the word that you are saying, because somebody watching you will be watching your mouth as well as your hand. So I would say A-I-R if I were doing it one way, but really the correct way is air.
So air.
Good. Okay, we have one for air. Bobby, what does Bobby do? How does Bobby figure out her affinity?
I think she thinks back to her sanctuary and realizes that the sort of the gentle rush of the waves and the salt smell are very pervasive in that space. And she thinks maybe that's a good place to start. So she starts to spell out the sign for water very haltingly, very tentatively, but starts W-A-T and then E and then R. And I think she I think from her palms, like water starts to flow down, and it just sort of, it feels slightly embarrassing, just like this water just kind of cascading out of her palms. And she's like, I don't know how do I make it stop?
Turn off. She kind of like rushes over and says, it will stop in a moment. Just relax, just relax. You will learn to control it better, but clearly you have a strong affinity for water. I would focus on that. You can practice with the lake. Try to create little whirlpools in the lake. That's a good first exercise for you.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Morgan, what does Morgan do?
So Morgan obviously takes this incredibly seriously. So she's
as with everything.
As with everything. So she actually is maybe a little bit further away from the rest of the group whilst doing it, and is like fully focusing on stuff, and is thinking back to the Raven coming into the library, like, and it's almost like that sort of montage moment of like the wings beating, the ruffle of pages, of the planner, the rush as she entered through the Allswell, the polite golf claps resonating through the air, and she's like, yeah, I think so. So she does the sign for sort of air, and feels that sort of click, that sort of connection as she does it, and it's like, yes. Turns round and sees Dahi also doing the same thing,
Getting
and
like
is-
leaf blower air in the face.
and she's just like, oh no. Yeah.
Twins!
CJ comes over and is like, oh, we have 2 air affinities. That is exceptional.
Is it? I mean, it is.
You clearly will learn a lot from each other and be a great support for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Desperately
very
tries not.
alike?
And just seeing like,
No.
you know what? I was voted most likely to work best in a team for the yearbook, so I'm sure we can make it work. And hearing probably Dahi going, like trying to turn it off. I'm like, yeah, I'll do my best, Sitter. So, yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. Briar. What does Briar do?
I think Briar's kind of like first just kind of watching everyone else and kind of like taking it in, because I think she's kind of anxious to try without like watching other people first, and so it's kind of just sitting and watching, and then I think does kind of what she saw Dahi do, which is just like try different ones. And so first tries air and so it's like AIR, and then like, you know, nothing happens, and then is like kind of going through the rest of them. And I think like it goes through a couple times and she doesn't, like nothing happens, and so she's like, okay, maybe I'm like not even supposed to be here. Like maybe that turtle was like for somebody else, and like I just intercepted them. Like they were
New
trying
turtle, who dis?
yeah.
You walk so slow.
Yeah.
You're just the
And-
first person.
Was waving to someone behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, how awkward.
He's waving to somebody who'd already left.
Yeah.
And so Briar is like getting kind of nervous about it, and I think is saying like, oh, like kind of like in her mind is like, okay, and like doesn't even feel that connected to any of the elements specifically, is kind of like, okay, I don't really feel like that connected to them. And then I think does the sign for Earth, so she does REARTH, and at first doesn't, like, again, doesn't really notice anything, but thinks she sees something out of the corner of her eye, so looks down and sees some of the plants kind of move, and is like, oh, like kind of internally makes the connection of like, because she's thinking Avatar: The Last Airbender, so she's thinking like Earth, like earthbenders, you're like, you know, moving mud around and like rocks and stuff, and immediately is so excited because she's loved gardening for so long, but she's very impatient. And so like the thing with gardening is you have to wait and you just like have to let things grow. And so she immediately gets down and starts like kind of trying to shape again so that she can see the plants like grow quickly in front of her eyes, and is like, this is the coolest thing that I ever could have imagined happening. And so it's just kind of like watching like a little flower bloom in front of her as she's just like spelling it Earth over and over and over again.
CJ comes over and says, incredible, very good, making a flower grow immediately. Yes.
Yeah, this is
Mostly-
amazing. I'm gonna be so like, I'm gonna be able to make like so many plants grow. And like, do you think, have there ever been pendragons who have been able to like talk to plants?
Not to my knowledge. I do not know what a plant would say, but I encourage you to try.
I think I'm gonna find out.
We will discover new things with magic all the time. That is the joy. Keep at it.
Speak to me.
Is Ellie just on the floor, like shouting at a plant?
What do you want? Where are they? Where are they?
Thoughts. so good. Okay, speaking of which, how does Ellie discover her affinity?
Ellie has watched everyone else like nail this, and it's just like, I'm Sokka. Okay, it's fine. Sokka's cool. He has a boomerang. I'll figure it out. I don't know what's going on. It's like to the point where she forgot to start trying.
If
Like,
you don't
she's
know who the
immediately
Sokka
like,
in your group is, it's you.
Yeah.
she's like, it's fine. Everybody needs, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. We'll try. And she's still thinking about like Avatar, so she goes like through the Avatar cycle. She's like, okay, air. Nope. Okay. I guess they got that covered. Okay, water. Okay, that's the one I thought I'd get if I was gonna get anything. So that's not looking good. Earth, and she's getting more and more frustrated with herself, and she starts to feel warmer and warmer. And so when she's like, okay, last one, and then she's like, fire, and all of a sudden her hair bursts into flames.
And Sita runs over and sort of picks her up bodily and like turns her upside down and dunks her in the lake and lifts her and sort of like you're dangling upside down with like this dragon face in front of you, like, are you okay?
Yeah, it didn't hurt.
Only slightly singed, and she like turns you the right way up and puts you back down on your feet.
Wait, hang on, check this out. Air, and then blow dries your hair with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to fly someday.
Oh,
You should
no.
try it.
Sort of
Wait,
hovers
try
slightly
spelling
off the ground and says, "It is fun."
You should try spelling fly.
Okay.
No. It is a little early for that. Let us not fly before we can walk.
Doggy just gets one hand up. No.
The claw comes and like turns it down. It's like, patience. Sita turns to Ellie and says, I have seen worse accidents with this element. You are both blessed, and yet you must be very careful. Fire can be the most destructive of elements, but also one of the most powerful. Sort of lumbers away. Heads over to a chest on the side of the riverbank, opens it up, and pulls out something that she starts fashioning together, turns and plonks a fishing rod down the soil and says, now it is time for you to catch the golden trout. And that's where we're going to finish for this episode.
Ooh.
Polite
like
golf
golf
claps,
claps.
everyone.
Like,
Go claps. Go claps.
Smashing job.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm just great. Just was waiting on the winners of our competition, but we have a couple of names. But first, we will go around and say who we have been and thank the audience for watching us. Thank you, everybody. I have been Everis Burke. I use she/her pronouns, and yeah, I was your Grail guide this evening. I'm going to go in order of who I see on the screen because I can't be bothered thinking about the alphabet. Nox, tell the people who you are, where you can be found.
Hi everyone, I'm Nox. You can, my pronouns are she, her. I was Ellie. You can find me on all the social medias at Noxternal_7. And where you can find me this week is here on Girls Run These Worlds. I'm going to be here on Friday from 1 to 4 EST. Arnica is doing, as we ran through Rotten Wonderlands, which is a Troika-based game to celebrate her birthday. And so that's going to be really fun. And then I am the storyteller for a game called School of the Stars, which is played by Kids on Broom System. We're coming back from our mid-season break, and I'm so excited. It's very horror-based, things like that. And it's just really, really fun. So that's on Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm here all week, baby.
Wonderful.
Booked
Okay,
and
great.
busy.
Yeah.
Oh, you should see the next weeks after. This is my calm week.
Okay.
Okay, well, we get you every Tuesday, thankfully. Okay, so Taylor, tell us where you can be found.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I use she, her pronouns. I was playing Briar today and will be for the next several weeks. You can find me online pretty much mostly Twitter and Tumblr, both Roll for Felicity. And I also stream on Twitch, which is the same twitch.tv/Roll for Felicity. Tomorrow afternoon Eastern time, it's 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be playing a solo RPG on my on my Twitch stream called Over the Mountain, which is why am I not thinking of any of the right words? Rural fantasy solo RPG. And then next week, I've got some really fun streams coming up. Both games by Jess Levine. One, I have the High Ground, and the second one, Going Rogue. That's the main thing that I've got going on. But if you follow me on Twitter or Tumblr, you'll see other stuff that I'm in. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Fiona.
Oh, hello. When I'm not playing an anxiety version of myself in a fantasy realm, my name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the host of What Am I Rolling, which is a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast. I'm also the co-host of the DM's Book Club. But, you can find them wherever you listen to podcasts, but I always like to recommend other RPGs because I'm a big fan of stuff like this, like Inspirisles is amazing, and I want more people to play other games. So if you like sort of high fantasy, but you're not into sort of D&D mechanics, but you like D20s, I want to highly recommend Quest by Adventure Guild. Very, very straightforward system. You don't really have to worry much about combat. Basically, a 6 and above, you succeed. What I really love about it is that if you go to their website just now, the core PDF is free. They've just made a decision to be like, it's free for everyone, just go and download it. So highly recommend that. That's a high fantasy setting, but they're going to have a science fiction one later this year, hopefully. But highly recommend checking that out. So yeah, but that's me, and I will be here next week, hopefully, if my anxiety has not exploded.
Please be here next week. My anxiety's exploding. Okay, great. Thank you. Maddie.
Hello, yes. I have been Maddie, she, her pronouns, and I've been playing Bobby. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie_abstract. Most relevant to this stream, you can hear more of my actual play stuff on Realms of Peril and Glory. You can follow that at Realms Pod. I'm one of the regular cast members. And I have an upcoming solo and 2-player RPG podcast called A Game of One's Own. You can find that at A Game of One's Own on Twitter.
I love that title. That's great. Wonderful. Okay, everybody check that out. And last but not least, Gaskinator. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, my name is Gaskinator, and Gaskin ye shall receive, according to the link below. The only thing I've got going on is this at the moment, because hey guys, sometimes you gotta start building back your spoons. So just doing one a week's enough for me right now. But I'm more than happy that this is my one a week. I was so excited seeing this casting call, because this amazing Celtic folklore, learning new things, love it. So thank you so much for having me, Ivers, and hell yeah, I can't wait for more.
Yeah.
Well, we are overjoyed to have you. Thank you for bringing the chaos.
Oh wait,
great.
thank you, right? Thanks.
I think so.
Yep.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you for watching us. We have winners. We have winners of our competition in chat. Ava or Ava wins a PDF bundle of the game. Congratulations, Ava.
Woohoo.
And Optimistic Depressive wins something else. We have not yet confirmed. We will confirm with them when we figure that out.
Like,
Thank you for
woo.
all of your donations
Ooh.
going to our fine charity, which, to remind you, is the National Deaf Children's Society. So it's been great to stream with you tonight, and hopefully see you next Tuesday for the next part of this 6-part series. Good night, everyone.